Fantasy on a Tuesday. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. 202, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. And, of course, we are the home of the St. Louis Blues and the Blues. And Doug Armstrong making some moves. And this is something that, Jamie, you were quite fired up about.
Yeah, Army woke up this morning and chose violence on the Edmonton Oilers. That's just the bottom line. What a sick mother fast laner he is.
So explain this to the fine folks.
So these two players are restricted free agents, which means all the Oilers had to do is qualify them on July 1st when their contracts were expired. They retain their rights then to negotiate with these players while under the umbrella of the Oilers to either negotiate a long-term deal, a one-year deal, whatever. It gives them a window of opportunity to negotiate. But the NHL continues to work and do business even though these restricted free agents have been offered their qualifying offer to which they have not signed. So then all the other free agents get signed by teams, and teams move out salary cap, and they move the pieces around so they can build their team, all while thinking that nobody's really going to go after these restricted free agents. We'll figure that out later. Well, Army said, guess what, Edmonton? You're $300,000 over the cap right now. In the offseason, you can carry, I think it's $1 million over the cap. And I'm about to push your head underwater and see how you react to this. And got up and offered Philip Broberg a 2-year deal at $4.5+ million per season, and Dylan Holloway a $2.2 million contract for 2 years. So that's a total of roughly $6.5 million worth of contracts. And by the way, the Oilers are already $300,000 over the cap.
So they can't sign these guys without making some moves.
They got, and
they were slow.
What moves are you going to make now? Who the hell? Who is taking on your trash at this time of the summer? Nobody is. So now the Oilers, their move is probably going to be Evander Kane to the long-term injury reserve. They can put $5.1 million on that, but it still leaves them $2 million short, $2 million over the cap to sign both of these players. So Army's got a real good chance of getting both players, but if not, at least one. And it's all because everybody's just hunky-dory. We're going to be fine. But Army came in like a savage and targeted the team. And it's one thing to offer sheet one player. But to come in and take the sledgehammer and kill the housefly by just picking another player off that team too, to really take you out behind the woodshed, is what he did. Stan Bowman, congratulations, you're the GM of the Oilers. By the way, Army still hates you because you were a Blackhawk. And he chose you. And he chose violence. Yeah. So I absolutely love the move. Marcia, do we have that audio of Army? So this triggered me a long time ago because Doug Armstrong, never in the history of being the general manager of the St. Louis Blues has he ever even mentioned something in passing without it being, He's very guarded that way. And here's what Army had to say following the, this was right after the season, Marcia, right after the draft, or in between there somewhere.
Yeah.
But here's what he had to say.
If there's a player that's available that we give a future asset for, that we see a window of 3, 4, 5 years, or that we control for that amount of time, and then it's up to us to sell them on why they want to extend, that's something we'd explore. Offer sheets are out there too. I think there's a perception or a thought that offer sheets are taboo by managers. Offer sheets that don't work are taboo by managers. Cap has gone up, and a lot of that money's already been spent by the teams already. Now, if you have an RFA that in a comfortable spot, it's at least my job responsibility to assess, is that an option that we should explore?
So the fact that Doug Armstrong, for the first time in the history of being the GM of the St. Louis Blues, publicly mentioned that offer sheets are a thing too. At that moment, I remember telling you guys, like, I feel like something's up here. Because, again, Army would never just say that in passing. So Army and his staff, his scouts, they were already going through every team in the league to see where the restricted free agents were lining up financially. And also, if we notice, how about the salary cap space that Army all of a sudden has? So the Krug thing, to me, nobody's publicly said anything yet, and this is just my opinion. My opinion is that Torrey Krug will have the surgery, Because otherwise, why would you offer sheet
Right.
2 players for that equal almost that $6.5 million?
Knowing that money is already allocated to a player.
Correct, you wouldn't, because then Army would be putting himself in a terrible cap
Sure.
situation. So this, if you read the tea leaves, for me, says Krug's going to have the surgery. He'll be out for most of the season, if not all of it. So that 6.5 goes on the LTIR. It covers the 2 new players that you just went and got.
Yeah,
and
makes
let's
sense.
not forget something too. I don't know. I tried to find it earlier, but the CBA and all that's hard to go through, and there's a lot of big words, Anthony. But,
Don't look at me. I was in the orange reading group.
but
First grade.
I think the Oilers have to wait until the season begins too to put Kane on LTIR.
Yeah.
To get the full compensation for it. If they do it now, I think it's a lesser amount. They can put like half of it, or I'm not guessing, but I'm kind of guessing because remember Alex Steen was a similar situation. The Blues had to wait right until the beginning of the season, like a week out, before they could put him on LTIR to get the full cap relief. Otherwise, it would have been less.
Yeah.
So it's a genius move. It's uber aggressive. It's a kick right in the Liberty Bells to the Oilers, and there's nothing they can do about it right now.
All right, so Jamie, he had mentioned, Doug Armstrong had mentioned in the summer in that clip that it's taboo, but it's taboo if it doesn't work. Is this a move that GMs typically don't make because you want to have good working relationships?
Well, the repercussions are real. So you've got Jake Neighbors, you got Joel Hofer, you're going to have Dalibor Dvorsky at some point. All of your young guys are going to be restricted free agents that don't accept their qualifying offer right away. And you better believe that somebody out there is going to be trying to pay you back.
Yeah.
They come knocking at the door. Hey, Jake, saw you just had another 25-goal season. It's kind of brutal that Army won't give you that long-term deal, huh?
We've got one for you.
Come on over to the Maple Leafs. We'll sign you for 8 years.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh. So, yeah, Army's got to be aware now that other GMs, and it's not just the Oilers, because as much as they all act like they're all friends, they all are kind of, sort of, but there's still some guys that you're more friends with. So, like, Anthony, if I was a GM and you were a GM, right, and somebody screwed you over, and I'm in a position later on to get him back for you, I'm going to try and do what I can for you.
Sure.
Now, it's going to benefit me
Of course,
because I'm going after
you're not just doing me a favor.
I'm not just doing you a favor,
Right.
but it's not going to suck to screw that guy over for you.
In the
Makes
process.
sense.
In the process.
Yeah.
So you kind of have, if you're Army, you have to have your head on a swivel. But it's an awesome move. I can't say I didn't see it coming because I thought with him saying that it's a possibility it might be out there, but for him to double down with 2 players.
So, okay, so the other question here too, if he's able to sign, let's just say he signs both of these guys. Edmonton can't work the cap, they can't figure it out, and both guys are signed. What does it mean for the team? On ice.
It's chaos on the blue line right now. I mean, Torrey Krug is yet to be ruled ineligible.
But let's assume that he is.
Still, you got 9 defensemen. You had 10 with Broberg, 9 defensemen without Krug.
How many can play, Jamie?
You can only play 6 at a time.
I just wanted to make sure my math was still.
Yeah, no, your
They're
math
going
is
to
still good.
revolutionize the game of hockey.
That Illini
All
education
defense.
is serving you well, my man.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, so I don't know how it lines up because if you look at the left side of the ice right now, it should be Leddy, Broberg, Suter. That's your best 3 left-handed defensemen. But you got Scott Perunovich, who's under contract. You've got Joseph, who you just traded or signed as a free agent. You got Tyler Tucker that's sitting there. Like, you got a lot of pieces now that you're like, okay, what do we do with all these guys? So Army must have another plan somewhere. He's going to have to move some money out, or players, contracts anyways.
Yeah.
Or he'll let them all battle it out in training camp and preseason. And whoever doesn't make the team, he'll just waive them and risk losing them via the waiver wire. But this Broberg kid, like, he's legit. He's 6'4", 220, 215, 220.
Yeah.
He's only 23 years old. He was a first-round pick, 8th overall. Then you've got Holloway, was a first-round pick, 14th overall, 6'1", 210, 22 years old, and 23 again for Broberg. When you're a team like the Blues, leading up to the last couple of years, when you didn't have high picks, because the Blues are always in the mix. Now, the last couple of years, they've had some higher picks, but this is how you do it. This is how you develop your team. You don't have to draft or develop. Just go take somebody else's players.
You developed them. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right, good stuff there. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. So if you want to weigh in on this or any of the topics that we're going to discuss today, you can. Air Comfort Service tax line is always rolling, 314-399-9646. Shout out to the Snake Pit, our Air Alliance team YouTube channel at 101 ESPN STL. So if you want to leave us a comment there, too. We, of course, have Sports Six Pack and everything coming up a little bit later.
Anthony, this one must be for you. Text from the 636. Hey, how good is this guy clearing the puck? That's what we like here.
Exactly. Well done. Well said. So the Airlines team, the text line is already active and rolling here. Lineup is out. We will play the lineup game next on 101 ESPN. My wife and I have been homeowners for a long time now, maybe over 10 years, and we, just like you, we go through projects, and sometimes they're big projects, but a lot of times they're smaller projects. Either way, we always consider Mosby Building Arts. And if you're not in the market, you don't have maybe the financial flexibility right now, or you just don't need a big project done, how about you consider a small project from Mosby Building Arts? Something like a new fireplace update, or maybe you're looking at your laundry room and you're like, man, we can maximize the space better, but we don't know how. Call Mosby Building Arts. They do a fantastic job of giving you your own team, your own designers, your own contractors, and they're all in-house. And when they get the materials in for your project, they don't start your project until everything is done. Everything is complete for them, and they have everybody in-house so that they can start your project and can be done in a timely manner. But again, fireplace update, laundry room updates, mudroom, kid drop zone, partial kitchen refinish. Maybe you don't want to do a complete overhaul of the kitchen, but you're looking at a partial kitchen refinish. Great. Mosby Building Arts, they're incredible. A lot of times, the smaller jobs, you'll see quick results. Projects are completed faster, offering immediate benefits, fewer decisions, less planning required in them. So consider Mosby Building Arts for any big or small project. Give them a call right now, 314-909-1800. You can also visit their website, callmosby.com. Either way, when you do reach out to them, tell them Stalter sent you from 101 ESPN. Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company. Following the Cardinals' loss last night to the Cincinnati Reds, the lineup is out for Game 2 tonight. Eric Fetty will make his third start for the Cardinals, and he'll be opposed by Hunter Green, a right-hander. So, gentlemen, I think this is going to be a dramatically different-looking lineup than the one that we saw last night.
But how do we feel about that? Because Ollie loaded up with the righties yesterday and it did nothing. And now he's going to, I assume, he's going to load it up with the lefties today. What if it doesn't work again, Anthony?
Well, hey, play your matchups, I guess. Keep rolling.
I can't wait to talk about last night's game, too.
I would love to see
I'm
Jordan.
perturbed.
Yeah, we'll get to last night's game.
Cardinals. Sonny Gray was on the bump. What are you guys talking about?
He had 9 strikeouts.
Yeah, he did.
What are you
I
guys
was like,
talking
this
about?
guy's dealing. He had like 7 strikeouts.
Seven in the first couple innings. Good game by the Cards.
Then he had a couple mistakes.
Right?
No.
Mistake.
No, not really, Carey.
Problem with the long ball. Again. Both
Long balls, several.
He had
pitching.
a few of them.
Too many long balls from the pitching staff.
that's problematic.
Too few long balls for the offense.
None.
Speaking of the offense, here we go. Mason Wynn, right?
Oh, yeah. Show us Mason Wynn.
I'm watching the Futures game, and this thing's all over Instagram. It's like, this guy threw a ball 100 across the time. That's awesome, but, like, how many throwing errors does he have?
Shut up! All right, this has been Alec Burleson in this spot
think
with
he's
a
back.
righty on the bump.
I don't think there's any question.
Show us that big burly guy.
Kind of closed my eyes and swung at it and did what I wanted to do.
Burly to the rescue!
All right, now the question will be, where is he in the lineup?
Yes, he in the
He's
field.
probably
I
right.
think he's
probably
DH.
DH.
I think Walker.
Wilson is
oh
bad.
no, Walker's probably out.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's your
Walker's
DH. Yes, I do.
They're doing the platoon thing. I almost called him Kelly. Why did I call him Kelly?
That's
you were gonna call
Carey.
me
He's been
Casey.
here for a while now.
Nice to meet you. How you doing,
Most
Jimmy?
guys you can't
Casey
say. Now, in
Hampton.
fairness to me,
Pleasure to meet you.
Kelly is my girlfriend's oldest son.
So now he thinks
there
I'm
you
a
go.
child.
Yeah.
Okay, I get
Well,
it. I'm one of his children.
Was that ever in doubt? Not that you're one of my children. That's a little bit doubtful. But however, never in doubt that you are a child.
This is true. Yeah, you
That's
got
Carey,
me there.
Jamie.
Carey.
That's Carey.
Nice to meet
Thank
you.
you, Carey. Jamie.
All right, so
We
Mason
both
Wynn.
have those unisex names.
There you go.
Alec Burleson. That's right. This has got to be Wilson Contreras.
Yes.
I agree.
Show us Wilson Contreras.
DH.
No.
Check. And he will be catching today, I would
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
I think this is probably Arenado. It's a
would it be?
right-hander
But why would it be?
Why wouldn't it be?
because he's not going to change up too much from last night, I don't think.
Who, Arenado? I know, that's the problem.
He's talking about
well,
Holly.
Both.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
I think this is Arenado.
Go ahead.
All right.
I mean, I don't like it, but it's an Ollie thing.
Show us. No Arenado.
He's a Gold Glove
There it
winner and
is.
perennial All-Star.
Oh, listen to Mr. Gold Glove over here.
Come on.
So this is Goldie then?
Last night was Goldschmidt.
Should be.
I would think so.
Do it again. Run it back. Show us. I don't want to because I
think
did
it's
it last
I think
week
it's Goldie.
and he snapped on me. So
Yep.
let me get confirmation.
This story gets better over time.
You went wrong. What
Yeah.
are you doing? I'm like, sorry.
I've seen
is
it
Paul
before.
Goldschmidt okay? Is that okay here?
I think Goldie's going to be down in the lineup. But that's just my own
All right,
opinion.
so,
You guys think-
let's talk it out then.
I think it's Goldie here as well.
So let's talk it out though.
it could be Donovan.
What's our outfield? Donovan, Scott, and Newt.
I don't think Newt is playing. I think it's Donovan Scott and Jordan Walker.
Oh, I think he's jamming all the lefties into this lineup.
He's
tonight.
absolutely going to do that.
You think Newt is playing tonight?
Yes. I think
Yes.
Gorman's playing too.
I think Gorman's in too.
So-
I actually was thinking Gorman here at one point.
If the outfield is Donovan, Scott, and Newt with Gorman,
I told you all my thoughts on this yesterday. I think you're only going to play 2 of the 3 lefties, Burley and a combination of Gorman or Newt. Burley is playing. That's what I think going forward. I don't see them both playing from here on out.
Who? Newton Burley?
Yeah.
They're going to play today. They got waxed
if
yesterday.
one of them comes off the bench,
I think Ollie's going to be Mr. Righty-lefty.
I think Pham
combo.
and Walker are on the bench today.
I do too.
Yeah.
well, you all have. I think this is still Goldie.
Go ahead, guys.
Do you think it's Goldie?
You guys are outvoting?
Or do you think
so
it's-
go ahead.
No, I think it's
Donovan.
Goldie too.
I know. I said you guys outvoted.
Oh, that's
me,
right. So who do you think it could be though?
I think it's a left bat. I think it's Donovan or Gorman here.
I don't think it's Gorman.
Okay.
I could follow you on Donovan.
I could see Donovan, but I think it would be Goldie again.
You went righty, lefty, righty, righty. This seems like a lefty.
Go Donovan.
You do it then.
All right.
I don't feel comfortable. He talked you
It's
into
your
it.
idea, but
He talked you
I'll
into
do
it.
Okay.
I support
you
you.
do it.
Show us
Do it.
I support
Brendan
you.
Donovan.
Donnie.
Yes. Hold on. Yes. That's what you did last week, too, you son of a...
Nice
told
job,
you.
Jamie. All right, so this is Goldie.
Yes.
Yes.
I believe it would be Goldie.
Show us Paul Goldschmidt.
Gold!
Nice.
Rich with gold! Gold!
Okay, now
All
I
right,
think we're
this is
going
where-
lefty bat again.
I think it's Newt.
You think it's Newt?
I think it goes Newt,
He
Gorman,
loves the Newt.
Scott.
You think it's Newt, Gorman, Scott?
We need a
That's
right
three lefties
fielder,
in
a
row.
center fielder, and a second baseman.
Yeah. I think it's
I-
Newt, Gorman, Scott.
I agree.
I'll save mine for the last one.
Show
You go
us.
ahead.
Lars Newpark.
What makes you think Susie wants to turn me into a newt? A newt. Got better.
All right.
This is
the
Gorman.
popcorn guy?
This is Gorman.
All right. I'm excited. Show us that popcorn, baby.
Get your face.
Oh, wow.
We did it.
Get your popcorn ready.
We did.
Well,
did we?
let's make sure.
There's no.
Victor Scott. This is Victor Scott. We're
Yeah.
all in agreement
I've
here.
got.
I
I've got-
am.
I've
We're
got
all
the
in agreement.
defense
I'm
here.
nervous
Okay.
now.
We need a center fielder.
Show us Victor Scott the second. You don't do this, Marshy. You don't do this.
Great Scott.
Focus. Speed.
Yes.
I am speed.
We read Ollie like a book today.
That's not that hard.
No. That's why I'm the Orange Reading Group. You get the easier assignments. Go ahead, Marsh.
Nice, boys.
All right,
Way to
one
go.
fish, two fish.
Yep.
Red fish, blue fish.
Marsh was also in the Orange Reading Group.
Yeah. All right, leading off the shortstop, Mason Wynn, batting second. Your DH, Alec Burleson, batting third, catching Wilson Contreras. Your cleanup hitter, third baseman, batting fifth in left field, Brendan Donovan. Batting sixth, first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt. Batting seventh in right field, Lars Taylor Tatsui Newtbar. Batting eighth, second baseman Nolan Gorman. And batting ninth in center field, Victor Scott the second.
Go foul, go foul!
I don't believe what I just saw.
Home run.
All right, Marsh, you're still in the lead.
DJ Marshy Marsh.
All right, well,
It didn't sound confident, fellas.
He did not.
He sounded.
I'm looking at the matchups, just
Yep. See?
give me Tommy Pham off the bench.
You son of a...
And yesterday I said I wasn't going to do something special.
Now you're going to.
I'm going, you know what? Doug Armstrong took the knife, jammed it right into the eyeball of the Edmonton Oilers franchise. And I'm going to do that today with you fellas.
Okay, fair
With Tommy
enough.
Pham hitting a Ding Dong Johnson off the bench.
Graphic, but we respect it.
Well,
Jamie?
Marshy, you were reading my mind on this one, except I'm going with Jordan Walker off the bench
Come on.
with a home run. Because I think Walker will come off the bench before Pham.
Come on, Jamie. This is
Why else would you have him here if you're Ollie?
it's uncalled for. I mean, he is hitting 571 against Hunter Green. Why he's not playing, who knows? With an OPS of 13.
But he probably
39.
won't see Hunter
How many
Green.
at-bats?
7.
Hey, it's a good seven
Still-
at bats.
still-
Pretty damn good.
I mean, it's a pretty good sample size. Green
is.
hasn't been in the league that long.
So, what on Gorman? 091.
Then don't pick him.
Yeah, who's
I'm
your
just
pick?
saying. I'm just wondering why he's playing. Give me. You know what? Nope. Give me Wilson Contreras.
But is Burleson a 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
Give me Alec Burleson.
All right, there you go, boys.
All right. Tonight, another early-ish start time. 5:40, Cardinals, Reds. Again, Eric Fetty versus Hunter Green. What the hell happened last night?
Ugh.
We'll dive into it next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Doug Armstrong and the Blues have made an offer sheet to Edmonton's restricted free agents Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg. The Blues offered Broberg 2 years at $4.5 million and some change. Compensation is a second-round pick. They also offered Dylan Holloway 2 years at $2.2 and some change, average annual value. Compensation is a third-round pick. We talked about that earlier in the show. We'll continue talking about it throughout the remainder of the show. So make sure you tune in, and if you missed anything, go to 101ESPN.com and download the podcast. All brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. City SC takes on Club America tonight with a start time of 9:30. And lastly, the Cardinals lost 6-1 last night to the Cincinnati Reds. Eric Fetty on the mound tonight going up against Hunter Green. 5:40 first pitch for the Cardinals. We are going to dive into, well, the situation that we saw last night. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
All right, last night, not great in Cincinnati. Cardinals fall to the Reds.
I really liked your tone to set up the segment.
You know
it
what?
wasn't.
In fact, Anthony, I love your tone for this segment.
You got to be Cardinal. You got to be believers, guys. You know?
Well, I'm not. I mean, I'm a believer. I'm a believer in what I saw last night, and it wasn't good.
It wasn't good. I'm trying.
I appreciate
Yes,
the
you
effort,
are.
Carey.
I'm trying.
All right, so
Won't take long to get him fired up, though.
no, it won't. It certainly won't. So Sonny Gray struck out 9. That's the good news. And his strikeout rate is actually better this year than it was last season when he finished second in the Cy Young voting. But the biggest issue from this year compared to a year ago is that the dude has given up too many home runs. He's given up too many home runs. He's given up too many extra base hits. And he's doing so, and this is the cherry on top. He's doing so with more runners on base. Last year, he was able to keep the ball in the yard. He was able to limit extra base hits consistently. And he was able to do so when runners weren't on base. He was working in and out of jams last year. This year, despite the fact that the ERA, the strikeout rate, the walk rate are all either right there from a year ago or better, the problem has been Gray cannot keep the ball in the yard, and he can't keep the ball in the yard when runners are on base, or can't keep guys off second base when runners are already on. That is that is clear as day. You can look at the numbers if you want to, but that is the issue right now with Sonny Gray. If you look at, the ERA 3.93, it's not bad. The WHIP 1.08 and strikeout ratio 162 to 31. What do you mean he's not pitching well? The problem has been the home runs, and you saw it again last night.
Yeah, so what's so weird is like this Cardinals team, and I know I'm not alone out there, text line, people listening, like it's an emotional roller coaster. Like, it really is, because you're watching the beginning of that game last night, and you're like, oh, my gosh, Sonny Gray is on his game. I think it's 7 strikeouts for the first 3 innings, or up until he gave up the home runs anyways, and then makes a bad pitch to Steer, who takes it out of the yard, and then, like, I think the whole world knew he was coming back the next pitch with a fastball. Like, even I was sitting there going, like, he threw the fastball. Why would you do that? Ellie De La Cruz, first of all, he absolutely salivates for the fastball. He's the guy that he's like, oh, you want to challenge him with the fastball? So he's swinging on almost every fastball. And you picked as your first pitch with a guy who can go yard, and it goes, I mean, it didn't just go out. It's still airborne.
Right. NASA will find that at some point.
And now here's the most frustrating thing. And I'm not even that frustrated at Sonny Gray at that moment because he still had 9 strikeouts. He gave up 3 home runs, and that was the game, basically. But this is something the Cardinals can't do. Not 1 home run. And they had 7 guys on base in the first 2 innings and got 1 guy home. They had the bases loaded and did nothing with it. And then had the Cardinals put a couple more runs on, let's say it's 3-0 heading into that spot because the Cardinals had guys on base in the second inning. They could have opened up the scoring. Sonny Gray gives up those 2 home runs. It's 3-3. You're still in the ball game.
Yeah.
There's no stress factor at that point. You're like, okay, we're back to 0-0 basically.
Yeah.
But because you didn't cash in any of those guys that you had on base, except for 1, but everybody else stranded out there, now he gives those up. You're down 3-1. Now you're pressing.
Yep.
It's the story of the season. That's why their run differential sucks the way it does.
Yep.
Yeah, when they lose, they lose. They're going to lose by 3, 4, 5 more. It just happens. Sonny Gray's last 5 starts has given up 9 home runs.
Yeah.
Like 20 earned runs, 9 home runs. The Cardinals are 2-3 in those 5 games that he's started. And if this is your ace, again, the strikeouts were outstanding. You start the game off striking out 7 of your first 9 or 10 batters. Like, we don't have any complaints about that. Mm-hmm. But then you start giving up moonshots, and you can't give up multiple home runs in a game. You shouldn't give up back-to-back jacks. You shouldn't give up home runs, 2 home runs to 1 player. Like, it's a lot of questions and wondering, like, what's going on, what is missing. Because you see, for the first 3 innings, it looks outstanding. And then it fell off a cliff. The next time around, Spencer Steer was like, yeah, I know it's coming. Yeah. And Elliot of the Cruz like, yep, right behind you, big fella. That, to me, is extremely frustrating. And like Jamie said, when you are down 4 runs, 5 runs early in a game, I think everything changes for the offense. It's hard to get back into a game, especially when you don't have the firepower that a New York Yankees team may have or an LA Dodgers team may have. Mookie Betts ain't played in 2 months. He comes and hits a home run in his first at bat. Like, you don't have that. And this team can't afford to be down when your ace is on the mound. You can't afford to be down 5 runs and expect to win that game. Yeah. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, the Dodgers right now are turning it up. The Diamondbacks right now are turning it up. The Padres right now are turning it up.
8-2. Like, just win, baby.
And the Cardinals, I don't see what the difference is between the Cardinals now and, mid-May. And I know they kind of turned things around a little bit in May.
But a lot of the things are equal to what it was.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
There's been no urgency. I mean, what's their longest? I don't even know. What's the longest win streak this year?
4 or 5 games.
They have not had.
That's a guess, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think it's been 7.
They haven't gotten unbelievably red hot.
They had that one stretch, but I don't know how many games they won in a row in that stretch.
Yeah, they had a good right. They've had good spells, but they have not had a moment where it's like, wow, this team is lightning. 5?
5. The sweep against Baltimore and then 2 games that was against Chicago. One that was rained out that Marshy was at.
That's right.
When Sheldon was supposed to pitch. Yep. 5 in May.
They haven't. They at no point. And when I say play with urgency, it's not like the guys show up and go, well, we'll decide to play today. I just mean as a team collectively getting on one of those streaks where it's like it is go time. You haven't seen it. And like we said before, the Diamondbacks 8-2 in their last 10 games. Padres 8-2 in their last 10 games. Diamondbacks have won 4 in a row. Dodgers have won 4 in a row. Now is the time to turn things on. If you flip it over to the American League, the Astros have won 6 straight and 7 of their last 10. The Astros were middling in April. They weren't that far off of where the Cardinals were. A lot of people are like, what the hell is wrong with the Astros? They have figured it out. Not this team, though. They have been middling.
I was listening to BK and Ferrario earlier, and BK made a really good point. The Cardinals are essentially chasing down the 3rd wild card spot.
Oh yeah,
like you're not going to be first. You're not going to be second. You're probably not going to win your division. And there are 4 teams, 5 teams, all fighting for one spot.
Right.
So we have this the wild card. The Cardinals can make it. They're probably not catching the Diamondbacks or the Padres, who are playing out of their mind
well, and
right
heaven
now.
forbid the Braves finally figure some stuff out.
They've been really good.
Right.
If the Braves figure it out,
started stinking.
If the Braves figure it out, the Mets, the Cardinals, the Giants, they're all screwed.
Yep, I agree. I was going to say something similar in that, and the Braves, despite their struggles, are more talented than you are.
You got
with more
5
experience.
teams fighting for one spot. And so if you can't lose a game like you did yesterday with your ace on the mound. Like you can't. He can't give up 3 home runs. He can't give up, 6 earned runs. You're not going to. If your best pitcher does that, then it kind of sets the tone for the entire series.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what tonight looks like. But I mean, hopefully Fetty Wap got a little something to him. But I mean, I don't know how many runs they're going to score.
You're still facing a good pitcher on the other side in Hunter Green and a talented lineup. I mean,
especially the top of that lineup is wow.
It is. I mean,
it's more talented than I give you credit for.
Absolutely. I mean, Steer. You've got Steer. You got L.A. De La Cruz. Jonathan India has kind of fallen by the wayside. He's still a very good hitter. And you go up and down the lineup. There's some younger guys too. Marte is pretty good this year. So you look at the Reds. They're 58 and 61. Their run differential is plus 45. They're a better team than you are.
And they got a chance to catch you in this series.
Got to show up tonight. We'll see what happens. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. How do the Blues construct the roster if these offer sheets go through? I asked Jamie, hey, what's the on-ice implications if the Blues were to officially sign Holloway and Broberg? Jamie will tell you next on 101 ESPN.
The Medicine Shop in St. Charles, fellas, they are your destination for cheap ED meds. And I've said it before, nobody cares if you're using ED meds. We care that you pay too much for those ED meds. And the Medicine Shop in St. Charles, they're going to take great care of you because they've got a generic called Sildenafil, and they sell that for less than $2 a pill. I have seen it advertised other places. I have not seen it advertise at less than $2 a pill. Of course, boys, prescription is required. And if you have any other medicines that you require on a regular basis and you can't get to the pharmacy, let the Medicine Shop in St. Charles come to you. They offer free discreet shipping and delivery to your home or your workplace. So if your schedule is crazy and you've got a million things going on, don't worry about trying to get to the pharmacy. The Medicine Shop in St. Charles will take great care of you. And if you get in there, say hi to the representatives. Please tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. Any questions you've got over there, they're going to take great care of you, whether it's cold and flu, allergies, a cut on your finger, or a twisted ankle. They're going to give you all the best answers available, and they are my pharmacy family, and I want them to be yours as well. So please stop by. Again, you're going to love the pharmacy, but if not, at least visit them online at stcharles.medicineshop.com. Again, that's stcharles.medicineshop.com.
love our listeners. I do. I absolutely love our listeners. Appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to the Snake Pit, which has been lively today.
Oh, yeah, they're edgy.
They're edgy. And I don't blame them. The Cardinals lost last night. They're on edge. I like it.
They're excited about Blues moves. Mm-hmm. They're upset with the Cardinals losing last night. And, things happen.
Yeah. Absolutely. Speaking of the Blues, how do the Blues construct their roster if these offer sheets go through? So you got two players in Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg, who Army, like you said, was an absolute savage in extending contracts to them. If the Islanders, or I'm sorry, not the Islanders, excuse me, if the Oilers cannot sign both guys, and it doesn't look like they'll be able to re-sign both.
They may not be
with
able
the
to
cap issues
one.
they have, yeah. The roster for the Blues is kind of interesting now, Jamie. They do have 42 defensemen they got to sort through.
Well, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now is 10 potential defensemen. And we'll just run through them quick. You've got Leddy, Parayko, Suter, Falk, Krug. Still has not been announced that he's going to be injured. So Krug, Kessel, Joseph, Tucker, Perunovic, and Broberg.
That's a lot.
That's a crowded dance floor. That's for sure. So I don't know what Army's ultimately going to do. I said it earlier. It leads me to believe he has another move that he might make. And I don't think it's a move like that's going to be like a big shaking, like, wow. I think it's going to be, I'm going to unload maybe some of these smaller contracts for draft picks or something. Like, I could see him packaging a Tucker and, who knows, or let him go through waivers and seeing, because you've just got too many players. Like, right now, if the season started tomorrow and Torrey Krug was on the IR, let's just say he's on the IL, on the injured list. For me, your best 6 defensemen are Leddy, Parayko, Broberg, Falk, Suter, and Kessel. It's your top 6. No Perunovic, no Joseph in that lineup at all. And so what do you do? You've got a lot of bodies for very few spots, which creates competition. Great, I'm all about it. Yeah. But the problem is you still can only carry so many guys on the roster. And when you go to your forward lines, you're going to have extra forwards too that you're carrying, which makes it very difficult for Army to keep everybody at the NHL level. So you've either got to trade some guys or waive some guys and see where it takes you. Because when you look at the forward lineup, just for fun, these are not like my favorite lines. I'm just giving you lines. If you had Buchnevich, Thomas, and Kyrou, Saad, Shen, Neighbors, then currently, without the signed players, you'd have Joseph, Foxa, Texier, and then Walker, Sundqvist, and Toropchenko, Kapanen, extra player there. I haven't even said Zach Dean yet, or Bolduc yet, or Holloway. Because if Holloway accepts the offer, which he has, and the Oilers let him walk, he's probably going to slide into that third line somewhere. Yeah. So, again, you're going to have a crowded locker room no matter what with all these bodies going around. Mm-hmm. But it does give Army and Drew Bannister a really good chance at putting together the best roster, too.
See, that's what I like about it. We often overuse the sledgehammer, take the sledgehammer to the fly, but I appreciate this style of roster building. It's too many times we get into, and this is where I have overused the grocery shopping thing, where it's like, Mo, I've got my list. I'm only going to stick to these items. I'm going to shop. That's going to happen. We're good. But if you have a GM that has opportunity, because we have no idea. I'm sorry. Let me take a step back. We do have some idea, if you're a GM, who's going to be available. But did anybody really think that Juan Soto, for example, was going to be dealt 2 summers ago, last summer? No. We knew the contract was coming up. We knew that the Nationals may not sign him to a long-term deal, this, that, and the other thing. But Juan Soto became available. So if you have the mindset of just this one track, I need an outfielder, I'll get an outfielder when those outfielders are available in free agency, well, now you wind up with Dexter Fowler and you overpay him. Do you have any foresight? These 2 players are available. It's a unique circumstance. Doug Armstrong didn't say, you know what, I got more than enough defensemen. No. Could you improve your roster with one or both of these guys? Mm-hmm. If the answer is yes, you do what Doug Armstrong just did. And then, yes, you have to figure it out. You don't want to wind up in cap hell, don't get me wrong.
Well, they'll be fine.
But you'll be fine because you have some extra cap space. Mm-hmm. So I love the approach here from Doug Armstrong.
What I love about it, too, is he picked up 2 young players. So, Army's added, so Radek Faksa was a veteran guy. Kevin Hayes was a guy he added last year.
Yeah.
A little bit of veteran presence. But this year, you're adding some youth. And you're adding 2 guys that have already been drafted and developed by the Oilers. They're NHL players now. They're NHL ready. And now you just swooped in and took them.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Right. They're ready. They're
Give me
ready.
your lunch money while you're
Here
at
we
it,
go.
Stan.
Yep.
For me, it's about the competition. I love the fact that you add more players, more skilled players, 2 former first-round picks if they both are able to get through, and you're adding the competition. So now people aren't – it's a little bit – Jamie, you've been in these situations where people start added to the roster. You know, what's going on here?
I'd be furious right now if I was a defenseman.
But you, as an older player, you know what's going on here. Somebody's going to be forced out by play. And, they say pressure busts pipes or it makes diamonds. So either somebody's going to elevate their play and deserve to be on that ice every single night, or some guys are going to be looking for jobs at the end of the day. And that's what professional sports is. We talked about it yesterday. There are thousands of people looking to take your job. Hell, there's people every single day trying to take a job away from another guy. So your job is to not let them. And if you're on this roster and was on this team last year, and you're looking at all of the additions that are coming into that locker room this offseason, you're saying, "Oh, okay. Message clear. I got it. Understood. I got to work. I got to play hard. I got to play my best." There are a few people that are not in concern about job security. Colton Parayko, probably not. No. Cool. What we got? Some other guys probably
Those guys
looking around.
like it. They're like, hey, we're getting better.
Yes. And there's some other guys looking around like,
oh, yeah.
You got younger. You got a little cheaper.
You got bigger.
You got stronger. Oh, my position, huh? Me dust these skates off and get to work.
Does not look good.
So one thing that we haven't, there's 2 things that we haven't brought up yet is with the savviness of Army, is Army was exactly $1 short on both contracts so that the compensation didn't elevate to a first rounder. So with Broberg, it would have been a first rounder. With Holloway, it would have been from a third to a second rounder.
Sure.
And Army stayed under that threshold by $1 to keep them out of having to give away too much compensation. And the other part of it, too, is Army early this morning got up and called the Pittsburgh Penguins and said, hey, I want that second-round draft pick back.
Yeah.
How do I get it back? Well, what do you need it for? Don't worry about it. I just need it back.
It's none of your business.
Kyle
give it to me.
Dubas, do you want to help me with Team Canada for the Olympics? Yeah, then zip your lips and give me back that second rounder, which he did. He complied. So now Army has the second and third rounders available for the compensation. And what's the last thing I was going to say? Man.
I think that was the 2 things. You said 2 things.
Did I?
You said the money and you said the draft pick.
And how long they have to respond.
That's it. Thank you, Marshy.
Way to go, Marshy.
Taz,
Carey and I tested you. You did well, buddy.
3 old guys couldn't remember anything.
Nope.
But the Oilers have exactly 7 days to respond to the offer sheets. And it was funny on Twitter, the Blues tweeted out there, we have tendered offer sheets. And then the next quote tweet or whatever it is was Edmonton has 7 days to respond to this. And somebody typed underneath this, is this an update or a ransom note?
You have 24 hours.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. So we've been talking about approaches, and yeah, we're just going to poke the hornet's nest here. Which approach to roster building do you prefer? The one that we've been discussing with Army, who has made mistakes. Let's not say that he's been perfect.
Do that.
He has made mistakes. He's made big mistakes. That has led you to this point. He's aggressive, and everybody likes aggressive, but can you be overly aggressive at times? Then there's Mo, who's a little more cautious, a little more steady, but he's had a lot of success. Which approach to roster building do you prefer? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey, and people are talking about Window Nation, and their customer, Vicky, says, we could not be happier. This was a great experience. She's just one of over 33,000 five-star reviews that Window Nation has, and that's because they are all about value. And this August, they're giving you value during the Window Nation anniversary sale. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. There's no limit to how much you can save. You can save big with no interest or payments for 24 months. And if you act now, you'll get an extra $250 credit as well. Window Nation values your satisfaction in their quality, service, and affordability. That's why they stand behind their windows with a lifetime warranty. They are also recently ranked highest on Forbes' list of best window installation companies, so you can trust Window Nation for high-quality, affordable windows. Stop paying more than you have to. Hurry, hurry, hurry. The sale ends August 31st. Schedule a fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. They can install that window in 1 day or less, so there's no waiting around, and that window, again, will come with a lifetime warranty. 866-90-NATION or go online at windownation.com.
Load them up and pick the best.
There you go. That's Janet leaving us a mic drop, or at least a partial mic drop there. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Which approach to roster building do you prefer? We've talked a lot about Doug Armstrong and his moves with the Edmonton Oilers today. When it comes to the Cardinals, a lot more cautious, a lot more by the book, a lot more, yeah, we can see that coming. That's a Cardinal. A lot more, well, if the guy wants to be here, we'll sign him. If he doesn't, we'll move on. With the Blues, more aggressive, certainly. I think there's more creativity, certainly more surprises from Doug Armstrong. But that's not to say that he hasn't made missteps along the way. The biggest, of course, being Alex Pietrangelo, pivoting and signing the top defenseman at the time, which is Torrey Krug, which hasn't worked out. So
it's still, like, let's go back in time for a second. The move itself, it doesn't compare. You can't lose Alex Pietrangelo and then expect Torrey Krug to fill those shoes.
Right.
But let's remember that Torrey Krug was the next best defenseman available in all of free agency, and Army got him. Mm-hmm. So it'd be the equivalent of the Cardinals moving on from a pitcher and going to sign Blake Snell in the offseason. And then maybe it doesn't work out the way you thought it would. You still swung big.
Yeah.
So it ended up being something that maybe time will tell how it works out ultimately, but at least it was a shot. It was a big shot of money out there to try and get something to fill the void.
The Braves also swung and missed a lot last night against Blake Snell.
They did. I know, Anthony. Trust me. I saw it.
Did he get to the number?
Oh, he buried it.
Like 11 or
Yeah, he buried it.
He had a no-hitter again in like the 6th or 7th inning. The dude's just been lights out.
So much for only
I looked at
pitching
the
4
strikeouts
innings.
and I could already see that dumbass grin on Anthony's face.
It is dumb, and it is a grin. All right, so, you know, if you want to participate, you can. What approach do you like better? Because in fairness to Mo, one, he is working with a budget, just like Army's working with a cap. Mo is working with a budget. It's not like it is in Philadelphia where the ownership group is like, spend my money, spend it on the top players, go. There's a budget here, and Mo does have some handy. So his hands are cuffed to some degree, right? Mm-hmm. But he's also steady. He also has the approach, which I agree with, which is draft and develop from within. It hasn't always led to, you know, the ultimate success, obviously. But there's nothing, I don't think there's anything wrong with his approach, but it's just a matter of what do you like better? Which do you prefer?
I think people would prefer in this moment, you know, competition. Especially if you're the Cardinals and you went out and signed a pitcher. You signed Sonny Gray, and then you went out and signed Kyle Gibson and Lance Lynn. And, yeah, it was an upgrade from last year, but pretty much anything would have been an upgrade from last year. I think the issue with the Cardinals, and the Cardinals have had some injuries. I know that that's part of it. But I think when you're looking at what Army did and you're saying this is a GM that is actively going out to try to make this roster better.
Yeah.
I don't feel like Cardinal fans feel that way about Mo in this offseason, especially coming off of one of the worst years you've seen since the 90s, 20, 30 years. You hadn't seen a Cardinal team be that bad. And so you come back the following year and you're expecting, the hitting will be fine. We got Paul Goldschmidt. We got Nolan Arenado. We'll be fine. We just need some pitching. You did, but you also need some hitting. Mm-hmm. And so I think just looking at it from that perspective, I think people are more excited. Now, here's the thing. We don't know if this is going to work out at all for the Blues. Those guys might outplay some of the older players and be on this team, and then they might stink during the season. But I think the thought that Mo is actually actively trying to add to the roster, I think that gets fans more excited than what the Cardinals have done.
Yeah, I think the overall perception, just overall, is that Army's way more aggressive. And, you know, we said it to start the segment. He's had some misses as well. Mm-hmm. You know, the Kevin Hayes trade did not work out exactly the way Army wanted. But, again, he mitigated the damage by moving on from that player as fast as he could. He found a willing dance partner in the Pittsburgh Penguins to trade and move on from that whole thing. It's not that he's more aggressive. Well, I shouldn't say that. He is more aggressive, but it's in different ways. Like, when's the last time John Mozeliak got very creative on how to add to this team?
Right.
Like,
it's been...
If it doesn't fall on his lap...
Never, Bob. It's been since 11.
But exactly. If it doesn't fall on his lap or it's not the prototypical Cardinal player, then it's like it just doesn't happen. Like Tommy Pham, that was a little bit outside the box for Mo, but he did realize he needed a right-handed bat. It is a familiar face. They knew what they were getting, so it was fun. But... that ordinarily, that would have been a risky move for Mo. I don't know. Tommy Pham's got a big voice. I don't know if the clubhouse, you know.
And this is just preference, but you know, the other thing that Mo doesn't do that I think Army does do is there's no like cluster signings. Army has brought in a slew of defensemen. He knows he needs defensemen. He needs to upgrade. He needs to overhaul. He can't overhaul every single position because you still got contracts there. You still got players that you want, obviously, like Colton Parayko. But he has brought in guys. He's brought in defense. He has said, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to get one of each, and I'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. Mo, there's no cluster signings. He needed 2 starting pitchers last year. He signed exactly 2. If he needs an outfielder, he will sign exactly 1 outfielder. And it's like you're going to live and die on that 1 outfielder plus what you already have. There's not this cluster signing. That's this cluster approach.
Well, there's no ripple. And what I mean by that is, like, Mo goes out and he signs certain guys and then there's no competition. The internal competition doesn't really exist.
You're my guy.
You're the guy.
That's the problem.
And if you're not
Brandon,
my guy, some nobody in the minor leagues, we're going to hope for that they come up and do better.
But, like guys like Brandon Crawford and Matt Carpenter, they're brought in.
It doesn't put any pressure on anybody.
It puts no pressure.
Yeah.
And, they're two left-handed bats. I would have understood it more if one was left and one was right. Yeah. Two lefty bats, two aging veterans, to say the least. Matt Carpenter, I don't even know if he's been in the field this year. If he has, it's been for a cup of coffee.
Played second base.
Yeah.
He
made a big play. He played first base a couple of times.
How many games has he played, Carey?
Nah, not in the field. Nah, not many. I would have said.
And Crawford, what's he played? 5?
Yeah, well, he was playing a lot early.
Yeah.
We were wondering why he's playing so much.
Either way, they're not enough to disrupt anything. There's no ripple effect by having those two guys on your roster.
Right.
What Army does is he brings in players that can cause the ripple effect. Like right now, when he went and got Suter puts the pressure on Perunovic. They'll both put the pressure on Torrey Krug. Torrey Krug gets pressure put on him by this Joseph kid. He's big. Broberg now puts the pressure on Joseph because he's a big left hand.
Right.
There is pressure everywhere for guys to perform.
I love that approach. I do.
And where Mo just doesn't seem to have that.
No, it's exactly what I've been talking about. It's like, hey, Webb, I need this. That's it. Maybe the grocery store isn't the best example. Maybe the hardware store is the better example, right? Like you go to the hardware store, you got a project. You're like, I know I need drywall screws. So you go to the store, go to the hardware store, you get drywall screws, you come back home. No foresight for the fact that you still need 9 other things, and you're going to go to the grocery store multiple times, and you're going to do so exactly when you need it, which puts you behind the project. You're working on it too long. You're not efficient. You're spending more money than you probably should.
In there.
Like that, yeah. That's me.
And you're buying up the stuff that other people returned.
You're buying up the other stuff people returned.
It's got the tape on the bag.
Yeah. Yes. How much for this?
This is still good.
$5 off, huh? Take it.
Right.
You're missing some things in there.
You're missing some things.
It's missing 3 screws.
So it is now the hardware store approach, not the grocery shopping approach.
How many people have the Blues added or attempted? One, Broberg, Holloway,
this offseason?
Suter, Joseph Brothers, Foxa, Texier. Where are we at? Is that 7?
I thought
8?
you were counting.
I wasn't. I thought you were counting. You took out your pen.
Yeah, you got
I was naming them.
Okay, let's go through this. Broberg.
If these two add Broberg and Holloway,
sure.
Suter,
yes.
Joseph and Joseph, the Joseph brothers, Foxa, Texier. Am I missing anybody?
No, I don't think you're missing anybody. Now, Dalibor Dvorsky, would you consider because he'll be competing for a spot this year.
Add him. Because he didn't, guys that didn't play for the Blues last season.
So that's 8 guys.
8 people on a roster that they're trying to, all 8 of those people have an opportunity to make the team. That means 8 people got to go. Yeah. Or 7.
There's going to be,
it's going to be some, it's going to be a different, which to me, if I didn't play well in the last 2 seasons and my team didn't make the playoffs, why the hell would I keep trotting the same guys out there? Or I'm going to give some other guys a chance to make this team and push those players that have been on the roster for the last couple of years.
Carey, here's a couple of names we didn't name. Zach Dean
and Bolduc.
Bolduc?
Yep.
Those are 2 more guys.
2 more.
So that's 10 potential players.
I love it because it's not like this team is fresh off of a Stanley Cup run. Like, it's not a team that has had success the last couple of seasons and been near sniffing the playoffs and making a push in the playoffs. You're saying to these players, this ain't, and you got a damn coach fired. If we want to add that into the mix,
pretty damn good coach too.
Got a coach fired. So let's see if we can add some fresh blood into this and see how well these players can compete and force you other players that were a part of this regimen that got the coach fired, that didn't make the playoffs, that looked lackluster against Anthony San Jose Sharks or the Chicago Blackhawks. Let's see if we can get some new players that actually play better and play well.
So let's just do this exercise really quick. I know we're up against it, but with this retool, the key to being a competitive team, a contender for an extended period of time, is having really good cost control players. Army right now has Thomas and Kyrou. They're cost control because they're under contract for another 7 years with the team, and they're young players. Neighbors is a young player. Texier is a young player. Toropchenko is a young player. Bolduc is young. Zach Dean is young. Dalibor Dvorsky is young. We're at 7 or 8 guys here right now. That's just your forward group. On defense, your younger guys now are Joseph, Broberg, Perunovic. Like, you're starting to see here what the future might look like.
Right.
I haven't even said Lindstein yet, who I think is going to be a stud defenseman. So your roster in a year or two could be filled with 10 to 15 young cost-controlled players, which means now Doug Armstrong, Alex Steen, the Blues, can start to go plucking some of those high-end unrestricted free agents because the lower cost on the cap will leave more room for them.
I will say this, though. There is one approach that I prefer from Mo than Army, and that is Mo doesn't typically get himself involved in long-term deals that eventually you get to the spot where you're like, oh, crap, I don't have a lot of roster flexibility.
It's also why Mo misses out on some players.
Very true. That's fair. That's absolutely fair. I'd rather have a clean slate, though. Like Mo next year, outside of Arenado, there's not a contract you're like, that's an albatross. I can't do anything with that. Like, even guys that he's missed on before.
So what would the albatross be for you with the Blues?
Jordan Kyrou.
I don't see it that way.
I don't think so either because he's young still.
Yeah.
And as Jamie said, potential of 40 goal scorer, 30 for
37
sure.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Can score.
He's a point-a-game guy. So
Did the Blues finish the last 2 years?
No, Anthony.
Out of the playoffs.
He's not the only player.
He's the player. Making a lot of money. Making a lot of money. Where'd they finish, Marsh? Dead last?
No.
No. Out of the playoffs? Yeah, no, they had a good year.
I guess we'll see.
Hey, if you're not first, you're last, right?
There you go.
I guess we'll see.
Ricky Bobby.
Jordan Kyrou's contract's an albatross.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Not at a point a game.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Alex also agreed with you, Jamie. That goes both ways, Anthony. No, Mo skipped on Bryce Harper, LOL. I don't think Mo did that. I think that was ownership. Like, you can't tell me that Mo wasn't interested in Bryce Harper. I refuse to believe that.
Yeah,
I think
would agree with
ownership
that.
says,
And I think in fairness to Mo here, too, and this entire conversation, Doug Armstrong has the full support of the ownership. The ownership has been willing to spend to the cap this entire time. And even though this year they were going to take a step back and be like, let's leave a little buffer there. Now with these offer sheets, brings them right back up to the cap again.
Yeah.
Mo, I don't know if Mo gets that same. He gets the support, and I know the salaries in baseball are much larger, and it's not apples to apples here. But nonetheless, like Doug Armstrong knows, if he presents a good case on a good player, a good trade, whatever, that the ownership is going to support
Back
it.
you. One more. Your mom's boyfriend. Anthony, isn't that less important in Major League Baseball considering there is no salary cap? Absolutely. Fair point. We're not talking about all of Major League Baseball, though. We're talking about the Cardinals, who obviously have a budget. They're not going to spend like the Phillies do. So your point's well made, your question's well made. But when it comes to the Cardinals, if we're in Philadelphia, it'd be a little bit different because you're right, no salary cap. But the Cardinals, it's not like they're gonna be in the top 3, top 5 each year with spending. They've got a budget. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. By the way, if you want to send in your mic drops, send them in on this topic. What approach to roster building do you prefer, Armies or Mo? Chime in. Maybe we missed something that you've got a thought on, or maybe there's something that you want to reiterate that you like in terms of the approach. Great. Leave us a mic drop. All right, let's play Are You Sold next. Are You Sold next in the Fast Lane. If you got an Are You Sold statement, 314-399-9646. We'll play that here in the Fast Lane.
Hey, if you're a contractor or own a business that needs recycling, you need to learn about Scrap Mart Metals. They're not just for contractors or businesses either. If you own a home and you're trying to sell some things, maybe you're moving out, you got some things in your garage sale that couldn't sell, you can recycle them at Scrap Mart Metals as well. They understand for contractors, job site cleanup can be a mess. If you set up a business account with Scrap Mart to recycle that metal, it'll be one less thing you'll have to do during cleanup. You'd be amazed at how scrap metals add up and how it can truly help your business's cash flow. If you own heavy equipment, it often breaks down. It's frustrating. Over and over, you have to repair it. Eventually, the time will come to end your suffering, and you will have to get rid of it. Scrap Mart will come get it out of your way. They'll haul your equipment to one of their locations and get you a check the same day. Or if you want to haul it yourself, they have 3 convenient locations, Valley Park, Peevely, Jonesburg. If it's metal, they will buy it. It is recycling made easy. They offer convenient drive-on scale, and they have the highest payout. You will always get top dollar for your scrap metals. So reach out to them today at scrapmartmetals.com. My guy Lucas, he can talk to you about setting up a business account to get you rolling. Again, that's scrapmartmetals.com, and tell them Carey sent you.
Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Time to play Are You Sold? This is where you send in a statement, sports or otherwise, and we tell you whether or not we're sold on said statement. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Marsh, what do you got for us?
All right, let's start off with the 314. Are you sold that all three starting outfielders for 2025 are currently in the Cardinals organization?
I do. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
I think they love themselves the Newt. I think Donovan has more than proven that he's a versatile piece. Michael Ciani has come on. He came on this year. Maybe it's him and Victor Scott battling out in center field next year. Maybe.
Do you see a world where they're both out there at the same time?
Not if they're both not hitting.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
I think they're too similar.
Well, you could put one in left field.
I'm just saying, can you imagine the coverage you've had out there with those two guys?
It'd be pretty good, that's for sure.
I would say yes as well. I don't know if Newt is on that list, though.
Oh, they love the Newt.
Yeah, I know. Until they don't, Anthony. They love you till they don't.
But they might just love him too long. Like Carlson, then we'll trade him for a reliever.
Love you long time.
I was going to say that.
That's what the Cardinals said. To a lot of players.
I think Donovan is your starting
Dylan
left
Carlson
field,
was the latest
fielder.
example.
Love you long time?
Mm-hmm.
Till you can't anymore?
Yeah.
Scott, center field. Jordan Walker, right field. I don't know.
No.
And Donovan, left field.
Yeah, so I agree. I think
Newt is going to eventually be, if he doesn't hit, he's going to be the odd man out because in terms of playing the field, those guys feel like they're better and they're better hitters. Well, I don't know about Walker yet, but going off of what you expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the same outfield next year. I mean, what move are they going to make? They've got quite a few young cost-control players that are impacting the games. Like Donovan is an impactful player. Jordan Walker to be determined, but he could be an impactful player.
Yeah.
Ciani and Victor Scott are both impactful from the defensive side of things. Burley's bat can impact the game. Newt, we're not sure right now. Huh?
I said I didn't even add him.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah. So those are that's the cluster that you're dealing with. I think you got to ride it out.
So we know the Mizzou Tigers are ranked number 11 in the AP polls. We talked about that yesterday. From the 636, are you sold on the Tigers being a championship caliber team who can win the national title?
I think they'd have to have a lot go right for them, namely health and the defense playing up to snub. I think the defense is good, but I don't know if it's national championship caliber. But when you get in a playoff series or a playoff format like the one that we're going to see next in college football, you're not talking about winning a conference, one semifinal game in the national championship. You're talking about winning multiple playoff games. So I certainly wouldn't rule it out. Do I think the defense is a national title defense? Not right now, no. But that's not to say that they couldn't be.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough. I mean, you got a lot of programs that are really good. Oregon is going to be really good this year. Georgia is going to be good again. They got their quarterback. There are a lot of programs that are really good this year. Making the playoffs should be a definite, in my opinion, for Mizzou, based on their schedule. I think that they should. I don't know if they win the conference because I don't know how that all is going to play out, but making the playoffs should definitely happen. And, if you're one of those top 12 teams, anything is actually possible.
Yeah.
But it's going to be some teams in front of you that are really good and really talented as well.
Lloyd from the Snake Pit goes, my defense for Mizzou in NCAA 25 is getting cooked on every play. Not great.
That's coaching. This is I gotta address this. This is Hockey Bob's been texting in the same thing twice now.
Yeah.
Not last segment, but 2 segments ago, one of us mentioned that Torrey Krug was the replacement for Alex Pietrangelo.
He was the pivot.
The pivot. Hockey Bob says, fellas, this is in all caps, please get your facts straight. Falk was brought in a year earlier to replace Pietrangelo, who told Doug he wasn't coming back. Torrey Krug was signed to replace Bouwmeester. Are you sold that is actually the case?
Jamie?
I can tell you flat out that is inaccurate.
Jamie, can you eviscerate him and then I'll bury the body? I'll just say it right now. Go ahead.
I ran into Hockey Bob there not too long ago. He likes to have himself a good time, and he's a passionate hockey guy. He's a good guy, but he's often mistaken in the facts. So Justin Falk, I do believe, yes, he was brought in as the potential replacement for Alex Pietrangelo because he still had a year left on his contract. At no point did Alex Pietrangelo ever tell the Blues he wasn't coming back a year before Justin Falk got there. That didn't happen. And then the Petro negotiations were all the way up to the very end. And when Petro and Army couldn't come to an agreement, the Blues had to pivot now and find another power play defenseman that could play top 4 minutes. That guy was Torrey Krug. Yes, Jay Bouwmeester was already retired, but let's not forget Marco Scandella was brought in to replace Jay Bouwmeester following his cardiac arrest on the ice. So, again, good try.
You are wrong!
Look at the timeline, says Hockey Bob.
Bob, okay, hang on. Bob.
Thank you, Jamie. You were nice. You were nice. Now, please get out.
Bob, let's do the timeline, because I was sitting in this very studio when the Blues traded for Justin Falk, and it was before the last year of Alex Pietrangelo's contract. At that point, Alex Pietrangelo had never said a word to the Blues about, I won't be back. If he said that, then why the hell would they have negotiated anything in the offseason? It would have been a foregone conclusion that he's not coming back, and Army probably would have traded him at the deadline to get something for him. So the timeline is Falk traded for, Joel Edmondson went the other way in that deal, along with, was it Bach? Dominic Bach. Household name somewhere in the world.
Ouch.
But then Falk comes in, and there's no spot for Falk because he's not replacing Pietrangelo. It's clear he's not as good as Alex Pietrangelo. So he plays all over the map in that defensive core. Following that season, or during that season, there's cardiac arrest for Jay Bouwmeester, which is very unfortunate. Army pivoted and went and got Marco Scandella, a big, tall, left-handed shot defenseman, to come and play alongside Colton Parayko. So thus, he was the replacement for Jay Bouwmeester. At no point would anybody ever confuse Torrey Krug to be a replacement for Jay Bouwmeester. One guy's 6'4", the other guy's 5'8". Don't see it being a replacement type thing. Right. So then Torrey Krug was out there via free agency when Alex Pietrangelo signed with the Vegas Golden Knights. Army pivoted and signed Torrey Krug to a contract.
Yeah, and I believe we use the word pivoted.
Pivoted, yes.
Every time, because we've never said the replacement. We've always said the pivot.
Bob says, I'm $1,000. He's correct. Bob, come on down. Your money's good here. Thank you for your donation.
Actually, speaking of $1,000, I think Carey's still waiting for his money to arrive.
Brandon in the snake pit, I don't know where he went.
Well, he says he's never going to listen to us again.
Well, he owes me $1,000, Anthony.
How convenient.
Told me I couldn't be positive for an entire segment.
And you were.
I was.
You were farting rainbows.
Oh, I was so happy.
Bacon-wrapped wiener from the snake pit. Someone call the cops. Jamie's just murdered someone. DJ Patty Cakes. Cheddar Bob.
Someone call the ambulance! But not for me. Real quick, from the 636, are you sold that Ollie Marmol will have a longer tenure than Mike Matheny?
Oh, I was looking at that.
What was
How long?
7 years.
Iron Mike?
8, 7 years.
7?
8, 2, 3,
7.5.
4, 5, 6, 7.
He got ousted at the All-Star game.
7.5.
7.5.
Well, 6.5. Let's see.
6.5?
1, 2.
That's a big difference, Carey.
6. The 7th year is when he got fired. So 6.5.
And Ollie's in year, what, 3?
Yeah.
Ooh. I think Mike Matheny outlasts Ollie.
I think so, too.
I think so.
Yeah.
But Matheny also had better teams.
So it's not Ollie's fault.
Till the end.
Yeah.
But when he first came on board,
he took over the team that just won the World Series.
Not bad.
That also added Carlos Beltran.
The other thing, too, is that we're likely to see a GM change in Ollie's tenure.
New GM, new coach?
New president,
New president.
New GM.
President of baseball operations.
He wouldn't be Keim Bloom's guy if Keim Bloom takes over for Mo. So,
you think he would go in a different direction?
Well, I think the odds increase of a change.
But do you think John Mozeliak talked to Keim Bloom before the extension? And maybe he gave him the endorsement.
Yeah, maybe.
And he said, I like him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
so still,
still not his chair, though.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you go for it, Mo. And he knew. This will get me in.
That's the one where
faster.
Like, Mo turns around to congratulate Ollie, and Chaim Bloom is giving them the slit throat. You're dead. Just wait. Enjoy it.
You won't for very long. All right. Is Lance Lynn coming back to the starting rotation, i.e.,
what? The back is sore.
Oh, okay.
who gets replaced when he comes back? That's next on 101 ESPN.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The big news of the day is that Doug Armstrong and the Blues have made an offer sheet to Edmonton's restricted free agents Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg. They offered Philip Broberg 2 years at $4.5 and some change average annual value. Compensation is a second-round pick. They also offered Dylan Holloway 2 years at $2.2 and some change average annual value. Compensation is a third-round pick. If you missed any of those conversations today, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. City SC takes on Club America tonight. League's Cup round of 16. Start time is at 9:30, and the Cardinals look to bounce back against the Cincinnati Reds. 5:40 first pitch. Eric Fetty on the mound going up against Hunter Green. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Done for the year or what? Let's go.
I don't think so. So I got a bullpen today, so we're getting back on the mound intensity-wise, seeing where we're at, and then hopefully that leads to a better idea when I can be back, hopefully within the next time or two through the rotation. I can't come off till Friday, so I got a few more days here that I have to wait it out for sure.
I mean, come on now, let's go. I mean, you're getting soft in your old age. I don't understand.
I know, the 15-day IL, man. You got to wait it out all 15 days at least, they said.
All right, so that was Lance Lynn on A.J. Brzezinski's podcast called Foul Territory, and he's talking about throwing a bullpen, but he can't come off the IL until, well, the 15-day IL being 15 days. Makes sense. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. If Lance Lynn comes off the IL and he immediately is put back in the starting rotation, we can have two different conversations. We can have a conversation about who he should replace and a conversation about who he will replace. One's moot, though.
Because who he should replace doesn't matter.
Correct.
Okay.
Who do you think he will?
Who will he replace?
Yes.
Andre Palante.
Yeah.
Is it fair?
No.
Nope. But I had a coach tell me life isn't fair, son. And you deal with it.
It's unfortunate.
It is.
Because Andre Palante has earned a starting rotation spot.
It's almost generally the last one in, first one out. Is that kind of how it works? It's Andre Palante was the last one added to the starting rotation. He's going to be the first one taken out. Yeah. You're not going to remove Sonny Gray. That's a no-brainer, despite what he did yesterday. You're not going to remove Kyle Gibson because he's been playing extremely and performing pretty well.
Yep.
Eric Fetty, you just traded for him, so he's your starter regardless. And then that leaves Miles Michaelis and Andre Palante. Mm-hmm. And so Miles Michaelis, he's a Cardinal, right?
Yes.
That's the answer.
He's going to be here next year.
He's a guy. He's one of your guys. And I think that at the end of the day, it just feels like it's going to be Andre Palante. Again, it's probably not fair to him because he has been one of your better pitchers over this last, I would say, 6 or 7 game stretch that he's been starting. Yeah. 6 or 7 games that he started that stretch. But that's probably the first guy in, last guy in, first guy out.
Which, it's unfortunate.
Talking about my guy Palante?
Yeah. It's unfortunate, too, because we're not talking about April. We're not talking about May. We're not talking about June. We're in August. It's almost mid-August. You need to win games.
What would Doug Armstrong do in that situation, Jamie?
Right now in a playoff run?
Yeah.
Best players play.
Yeah, that's what I'd say, too.
He would have to.
You have no choice.
You owe it to your players, your fans, your managers, the whole organization.
Yeah.
Yep. To put the best product on the field, not just because it's fun to watch, no, because to win games.
So if that's the case, if it should be, would it be Miles Michaelis or would it be Lance Lynn that goes to the bullpen?
Oh, I think Miles Michaelis has proven to me that he needs to lay a little break in the bullpen.
Is he tuckered out, Jamie?
I don't know, but he's throwing batting practice.
Well, maybe he's got an injury.
Then Lance, you just had one. Now, Michaelis, you have one.
Yep.
I don't know. If Lance Lynn was pitching with this knee problem before, maybe that affected a few things. But Miles Michaelis, guys, it's just not pretty.
No.
And it doesn't look like it's going to get better. Lance Lynn still has some swing and miss stuff. Miles Michaelis does not, not many people are missing. And they're hitting the ball really hard.
Yeah. I just don't think that organizations typically do this. I'm sorry, let me rephrase it. I don't think that organizations make it a habit of having a veteran move positions like this. So in this case, starting pitcher to the rotation, where they could just easily move the young guy and justify it as one guy's got experience, other
but
one
that's
guy doesn't.
a loser mentality.
I completely agree, Jamie.
Play the best frigging team,
especially now in the season. I completely agree. But what are they going to do?
Well,
they're going to do the safe thing.
They can't, though. So
I'm with you.
I know what they're going to do, but this is where I get really ticked off. You signed 2 veteran guys, Gibson and Lance Lynn, for 1-year deal with the option for them to come back for a second year. So basically you told these guys, you're just placeholders. We need a veteran guy. We need a steady arm, but really not all that serious about you. Or it would have been 2 or 3 years we gave you without an option. It would have been a full contract.
Yeah.
So why can't you, whether it's Lance Lynn, I don't think Kyle Gibson should be the guy in the bullpen. He's still pitching very well. Even his last game, he pitched so well that the bullpen screwed it up. You know, Anthony, you were there.
I was.
Andre Palante has outpitched almost everybody here recently. How do you take that out of what are you telling your team? What are you telling your fan base? We're taking one of our second best pitcher, I think, in the last, maybe even the best pitcher in the last little 10-game window that I'm talking about, and you're putting him in the bullpen for a lesser than player.
Yeah.
That tells me that you don't care. We don't want to hurt the older guys' feelings. We don't really want to win. We're just fine getting close.
Yeah.
And that, for the fan base, for the players, if I was in that clubhouse and they took, I think I would say something as a veteran player. I think I'd go to Ollie. I think I'd go to Mo and be like, you can't be serious. This is not making us better. That's where guys like Arenado, that's where guys like Goldschmidt, that's where guys like Matt Carpenter, guys with some clout in that room, got to step up and push the envelope. And if they hurt Lance Lynn's feelings or Miles Michaelis' feelings, too bad. Pitch better, man.
Yep.
As a player, as Miles Michaelis and Lance Lynn, at some point, too, you have to go, I want what's best for this team. The old Rudy, take my jersey, let him play. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And nobody wants to do that because we're all competitive. But at some point, you know that you could be the piece holding the team back, or you can help the team out of the bullpen.
The Cardinals came back after All-Star break. What was it? June 19th. That was the day. And they played the Braves. First game after the All-Star break. In 9 games, Miles Michaelis has a 6.56 ERA.
Yeah, but it's higher, so it's good.
No, Anthony, that's
how it works.
No,
that's not.
That's batting
average.
Bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
For
confused.
you, if you're batting, not if you're a pitcher, though.
That makes more sense.
Sonny Gray is
you got all of them there?
5.30.
What's Andre Palante?
He's a 3.97. He's the lowest on the,
That's what I'm saying.
With the guys that have.
How do you take that out of the lineup?
That's what we're all saying.
Yeah,
He speaks for all of us.
It's not great for the Cardinals starting rotation.
Or their fan base. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Have the Padres found their identity under Mike Shildt and company?
Oh, boy.
If you look at the Padres' offensive numbers, they stand out big time. That's next on 101 ESPN. The Summer Heatwave sale is on at Auto Centers Nissan, and you can select new Nissans right now with rates as low as 0% APR and for terms as long as 84 months, and that's all throughout the month of August. You can save big on select new Nissans with thousands in Nissan bonus cash and dealer discounts on their lowest prices of 2024. It's all live. It's all going on right now. It's all in Herculaneum with over 700 vehicles in one location, you're bound to find the perfect car, truck, van, SUV, whatever you're looking for, to fit your lifestyle and your budget. First-time buyers or those with maybe some credit challenges, you have options as well. You have the perfect deal regardless of your situation, and you have it right there at Auto Centers Nissan. Just a short and easy drive up I-55. They're ready to earn your business, that's for sure. As always, offers include 30-day new car return promise. Within 30 days, if you're not completely sold, completely satisfied with your purchase, bring the vehicle back. They'll refund your money, and they'll set you up with something else that you do like. Complimentary lifetime warranty on new Nissans and eligible used vehicles, as well as complimentary one-year maintenance on new Nissan purchases. Start at AutoCentersNissan.com. When you head to Auto Centers Nissan in Herculaneum, tell them Stalter sent you. Of Sports Illustrated put together an interesting article about how the Padres went back in time to build a playoff team thanks to former Cardinals manager Mike Shildt. We'll get into that in a second. But we do have some Bud Bash tickets to give away right now. We have your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to next Tuesday night's Bud Bash game for the Cardinals and Brewers. Next week's Bud Bash game features a limited edition Woody Williams bobblehead, and you can get all the details on this season's series of Bud Bash Cardinals games now at cardinals.com/promotions. Here's your trivia question. A lot of you probably know this. If you're a Cardinal fan, you've been a Cardinal fan for a long time, you probably know this. But which player did the Cardinals trade to acquire Woody Williams in 2001? Which player did the Cardinals trade in 2001 to acquire Woody Williams? If you know the answer and you are the 101st texter to 314-399-9646, you're going to win the Bud Bash tickets for Cardinals and Brewers on Tuesday, August 20th. All right. Sports Illustrated, like I said, Tom Verducci broke down how the Padres went back in time to fix their offense. Let's start here.
What do you mean by that?
Well, okay, so the Padres have a loaded lineup. Mm-hmm. Fernando Tatis Jr. is out right now, but you still got Manny Machado. You still have Jay Cronenworth. You still have Luis Ariz, who they acquired early in the season this year. You still have Ha-Seong Kim. You still have Jackson Merrill, who's a rookie who's been phenomenal this year. So you have plenty of elements. But as Verducci points out in the article, they're also going back to things like bunting.
What?
Moving runners over.
Who would do that?
Old school, old-timey baseball stuff.
So like Whitey Herzog?
Yeah. Or Mike Shildt.
Oh,
who used
that's
to carry
right.
around the Cardinals Bible there.
When it was about fundamentals, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what Mike Shildt has brought to the Padres.
Let me just get this straight, Anthony. They're not just going by the 3 outcomes.
Yeah, they're not trying to just hit the long ball or strike out.
Oh.
Yeah.
But they're not winning, are they?
Well, they've been red hot over the last.
What are their offensive categories? Are they any good?
Well, they're top 5 in OPS, batting average, on-base percentage. I don't know slug, but I think they're in the top 10 in slug.
That was good.
Yeah. WRC Plus, they're also top 10 in all of baseball, not just the National League, like we like to do with the Cardinals sometimes. You know, they're third
in the NL Central.
So what does this mean, though? Because everybody, and we get caught, we don't like it, but we get caught up in it, too, of like the long ball, the home run, crooked numbers, you know?
Yeah.
But what does this say about the league when you have somebody like Mike Shildt, and I know he's not alone, his staff, the president of baseball operations there, and his
AJ Preller, him.
All of those people together figured out, okay, this is what we're going to do. Or Mike Shildt presented it, and they all bought in, whatever the case. So what does this say now for baseball? Because of the Padres, who look like they are going to make the playoffs, they're 4 games above the Braves, who are the 3rd wild card team at that spot, and they are 8-2 in their last 10. What does it say for baseball then? Like, is everybody else missing out on it again? We talked about Bill Belichick. How many times when he was zagging, when everybody was zigging, or whatever it was. This looks like, to me, this is the salmon swimming upstream here right now, but the salmon's doing real good.
Yeah. I like it. I like the approach. I like the fact that there's a team. Like, forget the Mike Shildt aspect here.
I don't think you can.
But for a second, I mean.
Okay.
I like that anybody has done it. Because at one point, let's not forget, you could read all the mean tweets about Mike Shildt. The Padres fans are tired of him. They're tired of his post-game interviews. They're tired of him blaming the media for everything. They're tired of his condensation. You know what I mean? They're tired of him being this, robot when it came to some of the decisions. Like, you could read all the bad stuff that Padres fans were done with Mike Shildt. That was about a month and a half ago. It doesn't matter if the team wins. And as people have pointed out in the Snake Pit and the text line, he has a knack for getting his team to play well in the second half, as we found out here in St. Louis. Now, there's some extenuating circumstances here in St. Louis that led ultimately to his ousting. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people feel better by just blaming Mo for that. It wasn't just Mo's fault.
No, Shildt had some.
Yes.
He had some stock in that as well.
Correct. So there's a reason, and we can't divulge. There's a reason, though, that it wasn't as simple as, well, he butted heads with Mo, he's out. It doesn't work that way.
And when Mo said philosophical differences, it was several, not just baseball related.
Yes.
So
let's say that many within the organization weren't upset with that decision that Mo made.
Correct.
We'll leave it at that.
But either way, the Padres are putting up good numbers offensively. They're playing old school baseball, and they're in a playoff spot.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Shildt is their manager. And Mike Shildt, like he said, walked around with the Cardinals Bible in his hands there. But Mike Shildt, from the day he took over, he said, boys, we're going back to fundamentals.
Yeah.
And their defense improved tremendously. Their small ball game, the Cardinals were moving runners around. He's doing it again in San Diego, and I'm just wondering, like, why is nobody else trying to do this stuff?
Right.
So you're saying fundamentals work, and you can be a good team when you do things the right way?
If you play a hard nine.
Okay.
Or if you have fundamentals.
They're bunting?
If you pitch well.
That's crazy.
If you hit well and you play good defense, typically you play well.
I'm looking at the numbers you gave. They are leading all of Major League Baseball in average.
Yeah.
We don't talk about batting average anymore. I know that doesn't tickle.
You can talk about it when it generates runs.
They're fancy, excuse me. It doesn't tickle their fancy. It doesn't make them excited. They're leading the league. They have the lowest strikeout rate for a team, which means they're
put the ball in play or taking walks.
Ball in play, yeah. They're a really good team offensively, and they got some really good star players. I mean, it doesn't hurt when you got Xander Bogaerts, Luis Arraez, guys that have been to the All-Star game time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
Manny Machado, Tatis Jr.
Carey, the key to that, though, like you're saying, those are big-time players. Yeah. But the big-time players are buying into the offensive concept.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Because those guys...
So there's a concept.
But here, to be fair, those guys have already been paid. They're all making big-time money. So if they hit a home run or they move a runner over, it's not going to affect their paycheck.
So then baseball, then the Cardinals need to sign their players now so that they can already have their money and not have to base it off of production.
You've been played. Now please play the way we want you to.
It sounds crazy. But Carey, you know this. If you're a running back or you're and you've been paid, you've got your big deal, and then all of a sudden 1 year the coach comes up and says, look, man, I know you've been getting your touches, but we're going to give a couple more touches. The other guy, we're going to need you to do some blocking too, and we're going to win games. Now, first, you're going to be ticked off. You're going to be like, this is crap.
I already got my money. So,
but then when you start winning 2, 3, 4 games in a row, I got my money. We're winning. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, I agree. Just pay the players then. Do it so they can play the game the right way.
We all laughed at the Padres for just shelling out all of that money. And here they are now, leading in almost
it looks good.
Everything.
It looks good now.
Yeah.
We'll see if they can finish this off. We'll see if they win a couple playoff series. I mean, the money is still there. It's still spent. They're still in some trouble financially.
Correct.
But if they can win.
But if they win a series or two in the playoffs.
Then things change. Conversation changes. Things change. Mox is starting quarterback.
Nice.
All right, we've got a returning Gauntlet member next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, it's inevitable at some point that as a man, you're going to be low in testosterone. It's just the way it works. But when you don't realize it, that's the problem because you can't figure it out. It's like the riddle with no answer. But head into Mentality. Our friends over at Mentality can help you through that. I had talked to BT about it, and I went in there, talked to Dave, one of the owners, and talked to Angel. And once we got everything out on the table, they were able to offer me solutions, especially after the blood panel. Blood panel showed low in testosterone, a couple other vitamins too. So they put me on my own unique program, as you are, and it has been fantastic.
Be honest with yourself. Stop being the I used to guy. That was me for a while. That was Jamie for a while. I used to go to the gym. I used to lift this. I used to do that. I used to do that. I used to be. You don't have to be the I used to guy. You could be the current guy. I right now, I put up X amount of weight, or right now, I still have energy at the end of the day after I work all day and play in the yard with the kids. Be the current guy, the guy that you want to be. Head down to Mentality, talk to the experts down there, and they're all fantastic. The team there at Mentality is great. 2 locations, one in Chesterfield, one in South County. You talk to them, you tell them how you're feeling. They'll tell you about the program. They'll draw your blood. Simple procedure. It's not a situation where it's this long, laborious thing. No, it's easy. Jamie and I have seen the results, and you will too.
Yeah, and let's not forget, it's also covered by most insurances, so there's really no excuse. Get by one of the locations. Again, tell them Anthony and Jamie sent you in. But if you can't do that, visit them online, please, at lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
Warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
All right, Jared beat me yesterday in the Gauntlet, so he's back for round 2. What's up, Jared? Uh-oh. Jared, are you there? We got some phone issues.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. You're back. He's back.
There we go.
Jared, we appreciate you coming back for round 2. So you had me yesterday, got through me, no issues. Marsh, Carey, and Jamie. Who would you like to go with next?
Let's take on Mr. Carey Davis.
Carey Davis.
I appreciate that, fellas. Good luck, Jared.
You too, man.
Carey's heading into the Cone of Silence. All right, yesterday, Jared, the wheel spun random for you. Go ahead and tell Marsh to spin the wheel today. We'll find out if it's random or something else today.
Marsh, you spin that wheel.
Now, I wasn't in the room yesterday. What are you hoping for?
Football or baseball?
Football or baseball? Okay. All right.
Oh, well, Doug Armstrong throwing a couple of offer sheets, which means the wheel decided to spin hockey today.
Wow, hockey.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, all right. Jared's still confident. He wanted baseball or hockey, doesn't mean, or baseball or football. Doesn't mean he's mad about getting hockey. So,
No.
4 questions, all hockey related. Jared will get the first 4. Carey will get he'll get the same 4 questions. Each question is worth 2 points unless Jared or Carey ask for the options. If they ask for the options, those questions become worth 1 point. Jared, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Which team is the last Metro Division team to win the Stanley Cup? Which team is the last Metro Division team to win the Stanley Cup?
Okay. I will go with the New York Islanders' final answer.
All right, let's go with question 2. The Blues recently hired Claude Julien as an assistant coach. Julien won the Stanley Cup as the Bruins head coach in 2011 when they took down the Vancouver Canucks in how many games?
7, final answer.
Question number 3. Which team is the only team that is undefeated in their Stanley Cup final appearances, going 3-0 in their history in the Stanley Cup final?
Let's see the options.
Your options are the New Jersey Devils, the Los Angeles Kings, or the Colorado Avalanche.
I really think the Kings, so I'll go with the Kings. Final answer.
All right, Jared, last question. Only one team has made the Stanley Cup final 3 times and still sits without a Stanley Cup championship. Name that team.
Options?
The Buffalo Sabres, the Vancouver Canucks, or the Ottawa Senators?
Let's do the Senators. Final answer.
All right. Let's bring back Carey Davis. Jared, how you feeling?
Well, I feel better today than yesterday. I don't like random at all.
Okay. Neither do I. All right, Carey's coming back in from the cone of silence. He's carrying his lunch. He took in his lunch.
He actually packed a lunch.
He packed a lunch. He took in the lunch. I don't know if he ate any.
I didn't get a chance.
That's an entire grocery bag.
Yeah. It certainly is. Yep. All right, so as
over Chipotle.
Carey puts on his headphones here.
How's it going, guys?
It's going well. Jamie?
Well, you already packed a lunch, so he's ready.
You have to tell him to do that.
Nope.
The wheel spun hockey.
Oh, love it.
Hockey today. Doug Armstrong making a slew of moves. The wheel said, give me that hockey.
Let's do that hockey then.
All right, Carey, question 1.
All right.
Which team is the last Metro Division team to win the Stanley Cup?
Oh, Lord. Options.
Washington Capitals, Florida Panthers, Pittsburgh Penguins.
Florida Panthers. Final answer.
All right, Carey, question 2. The Blues recently hired Claude Julien as an assistant coach. Julien won the Stanley Cup as the Bruins head coach in 2011 when they took down the Vancouver Canucks in how many games?
I'm 6 or 7 is the route that I want to go. Let's say 6. Final answer.
Question number 3. Which team is the only team that is undefeated in their Stanley Cup final appearances, going 3-0 in their history in the Stanley Cup final?
Wait a minute. 3-0 in their...
They've been to the Stanley Cup 3 times.
And they haven't lost a game.
They've never lost the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't break it down by games. Just the Stanley Cup.
Just the Cup.
Okay, so they've been 3 times and they've never lost.
Don't talk about the holes. Talk about the entire event.
Okay. Give me the options, please.
Remember I did that with golf?
No, that's right. Oh, that's right.
4,000. No, it's not that many.
Options are New Jersey Devils, Los Angeles Kings, or Colorado Avalanche.
Ooh. Do the Kings have 3 Stanley Cup finals? New Jersey Devils. That feels... Ooh. The Avs won 3. I'm torn, Jamie. Give me the Avs. Final answer. Oh, I feel like it should be the Devils.
Last question, Carey. Only one team has made the Stanley Cup final 3 times and still sits without a Stanley Cup championship. Name that team.
Oh, man. Options.
The Buffalo Sabres, the Vancouver Canucks, or the Ottawa Senators.
Ottawa Senators, final answer.
All right. Here we go. Jared versus Carey, second round of the Gauntlet. Let's start off with that last question. Only one team has made the Stanley Cup final 3 times and still sits without a Stanley Cup championship. Name that team. Carey, you named with the options the Ottawa Senators. Jared, Well, you said the same exact thing. Correct answer is
Vancouver Canucks.
Vancouver Canucks. So we got a 0-0 tie to lead things off.
There's a great documentary about the Vancouver Canucks when they lost in Game 7 to the Bruins, and they said they rioted in Vancouver. It's on Netflix, I think.
Jamie.
You just did it.
What?
Thanks. No, go ahead.
May as well go to that question.
Yeah, you should.
Which team is the only team that is undefeated?
Not that one.
No. Did they give it away?
You gave one away.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it's cool.
You already answered.
Is that number 2?
Yeah.
Go there.
Let's just go there. The Blues recently hired Claude Julien as an assistant coach. Julien won the Stanley Cup as the Bruins head coach in 2011 when they took down the Vancouver Canucks in how many games?
Oh, boy.
Jamie.
7.
Gary, you said 6. Jared, you said 7. Correct answer is
7.
Yeah, it's 7. That's right. That's right.
Now I know where I made the mistake.
Jared did not use the options on that one, so Jared's got a 2-0 lead over CD. Which team is the only team that is undefeated in the Stanley Cup final appearance, going 3-0 in their history in the Stanley Cup final? Jared, with the options, you said the LA Kings. Carey, with the options, you said the Colorado Avalanche. Correct answer is
the Colorado Avalanche.
Carey's on the board. 2-1. Comes down to this. Which team is the last Metro Division team to win the Stanley Cup? Jared, without the options, said the New York Islanders, which were not an option, unfortunately for Jared.
God.
We know that because Carey used the options. The options. The Capitals, the Panthers, the Penguins. Carey said the Panthers. If it is, in fact, the Florida Panthers, we got a walk-off. If it's the Capitals or the Penguins, Jared wins for a second straight day. Jared?
You have chosen wisely.
Well, the Florida Panthers, unfortunately, are in the Atlantic Division, not the Metro.
Carey was so fired up.
I'm like, oh, got it.
I was like, yes.
The correct answer is...
It is the Washington Capitals.
Washington
2018.
Right before the Blues.
I was thinking there.
You were just thinking last.
Yeah, when you said like, Florida Panthers, then okay, yeah, that's it. Yeah, for sure.
Carey went up for the layup.
He did.
And then ran backwards. Then looking at the didn't realize it didn't go in.
Yeah, it got hung up.
It got hung up.
I think the Islanders, the last time they won the Stanley Cup, I don't even know if the divisions were even the same name.
They weren't.
They were named after people.
That was the Campbell Conference, or the Wales Conference is what they were in, and I forget what that name of that division was. But anyways, the Islanders won, like the last time they won it was like in 1980, I believe.
Either way, the last time Jared won was today.
Yeah.
And Jared's undefeated too. So round 3 tomorrow, Jared. You got either Marsh or Jamie. Nice job.
Good job, Jared.
Appreciate it. I completely misunderstood that first question. I thought that was like who was the longest drought that they won the cup. So I'm like, I got lucky on that one.
Oh, hey, that's right. You won. You don't apologize
Carey,
for winning,
does that
man.
feel worse?
That, I mean, didn't feel great either way.
Yeah, still lost. Doesn't matter.
Didn't matter.
Nope.
Then no.
All right, Jared, we'll call you again tomorrow, man. Well done.
Sounds good. See you tomorrow.
All right. Your time check.
It's called the Patrick Division.
The Patrick Division. 4:14, your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. We've got what's trending next.
Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, back with you here. We head out to our celebrity line to talk to our guy Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, I know you've always got your ear to the ground, waiting to hear about the reports. What have you got for us today?
The inflation report's coming out. We're going in the right direction. Things are going down, so this is what we want to see. Costs are going down, and when costs go down, it's more incentive for the Federal Reserve to cut those interest rates. Coming September 17th and 18th, the Federal Reserve is going to meet. Good chance they're going to cut it on that day if they haven't already cut it by that time. Now, what does that mean for you? That means lower mortgage rates. If you got a mortgage in the last 3 years, you ought to look about refinancing. Refinance for free, no closing costs with the bagel loan. If you have an FHA loan or you have a VA loan, if you're a veteran, ought to refinance right now. If rates go down later on, you can always redo it again. As long as there's no fees you're paying, you're way ahead of the game.
But you do have to pick up the phone and either call or text Stewie at his personal cell phone number, which is 314-324-4440.
Again, that number, 314-324-4440.
Call him, text him, day, night, doesn't matter. Stewie's there for you. If you just have a question, reach out to him. Let Stewie show you that he is absolutely the best in the business. Stewie, we appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Have a good one, guys.
You can always Google the bagel loan, too, by the way. If you missed that phone number, again, Google the bagel loan.
NMLS number 226715.
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. We're going to get into the Blues. The Blues have made an offer sheet to Edmonton's restricted free agents Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg. I think Jamie might be in the bathroom right now.
Here he is.
Hey, guys. Sorry.
Hey.
Glad you back.
Visit the potty.
Huh,
I knew it.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jamie has a habit of leaving, and then whenever we need him,
What do you need me for this time? What's trending?
it's just not there. Just not there for us. But he's back.
Wait. Hang on. If you need me, I'm not there for you? Do we want to rethink this?
That's what Carey and Marsh were saying. I said,
Really?
guys, he's always been there for me.
You feel that way, Carey?
Anthony actually asked a question before we came on the air. Simple question to me and Marsh. You guys like Jamie?
Marsh goes, where is Jamie? Where is Jamie? He's got to go. You guys like Jamie?
What was the answer? I'm curious now.
He never answered.
That's kind of worse than anything.
The mic's on. We can't
Okay, guys.
We started working.
Okay, guys. All right. See how it is.
We love you, Jamie.
Oh, no, it's all right, guys. Sleep with one eye open.
In fairness, when Marsh leaves, well, I'll ask the same question to you guys about Marsh.
There you go. We
And
asked
then when
last
I
week when
leave-
you weren't
yeah,
here.
exactly. You guys like Anthony?
We had a whole week to debate that.
Figure that out.
Yeah.
We did.
Boy, did we.
All right, anyways. All right, go ahead, Marsh.
All right, so the Blues.
Yes.
They have made an offer sheet to Edmonton's restricted free agents, Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg. And we've talked about this a few times today already. But what kind of players are the Blues potentially getting in Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway? For those that might not be able to watch Edmonton Oilers games because they're in a different time zone.
You don't care.
And you don't care. But what kind of players are these? Do these two guys profiled to be? Like, what are you going to get out of them?
Well, Broberg is a very smooth skating, very mobile defenseman that's 6'4", 215, 220, somewhere in that range. He would profile to be a mixture, let's say, and this is like, we're talking ceiling here, okay? We're not talking like where he's at right now. We're talking like at 25, 26, 27, what does it look like? It could look like a version of like Jay Bouwmeester, Colton Parayko. Smooth skating, big guy, takes away a lot of time and space, good stick defensively, good first pass out of the zone, can join the attack if necessary. He's not going to overwhelm you with physicality, even though he's a big guy, but that big body does work well down low in the corners when sealing guys off on the wall, big body in front of the net, big body as far as covering real estate defensively. So for me, that's what the ceiling could look like for Broberg. Mm-hmm. As far as Holloway, he's a top 9 forward that has the potential to move up to like a middle 6, to where he's a 15, 20 goal scorer. Again, he's a pretty big body. He's listed 6'1", 210. Again, that's nice. The Blues could use some size up there. He did play in 25 of the 26 games that the Oilers played in during their Stanley Cup run, to where they fell one game short at the end. And he was used quite a bit during those playoffs. He scored 5 goals in the playoffs, so he's able to contribute offensively. I think Holloway hasn't even really scratched the surface yet on what he can be. He also hasn't been used in ways that might benefit him the most, because the Oilers, as we know, as far as skill is concerned, they are top heavy on that team. When you've got McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, Evander, Kane, even Corey Perry got power play time. When you've got all these guys with skill, it's tough sometimes for the young 22-year-old to find that spot. But he did find a regular spot in the lineup during the most important time of the season, which was the Stanley Cup playoffs. So I think he projects to be a third liner for the Blues, but with the ability to move up, kind of like a Jake Neighbors.
Guys, Brandon Ayuk has been the biggest buzz in the NFL as of recent. This is according to Ian Rappaport earlier today. The Steelers and 49ers have a deal and a potential trade, and Pittsburgh is in a good place on Ayuk's contract, sources say. If San Francisco gives the final sign-off, it's done. San Francisco has an offer out to Ayuk on a long-term deal for him to stay. He has not accepted. Anybody else kind of sick of this whole thing?
Yeah, because you just want to see something get done. I don't look if he's all about the money, right? Then you almost have to kind of choose here, because if you're all about the money, you may wind up on a bad team, and it's the Steelers are certainly not a bad team, great organization. So if he winds up with the Steelers, okay, great. I don't know if that's the best fit in terms of the offense and maximizing his talent. Mm-hmm. But if you're in search of the money, that's a trade-off. You may not win as much. You may not you may not be as heavily involved. You stay with the 49ers, you may not max out at $30-35 million a year. You may only get, quotation marks, you may only get 23 to 24, but you have a chance to win the Super Bowl every year. For me, I would stay in San Francisco, but again, far be it for me to tell Brandon Ayuk what to do.
I wonder what the numbers are. Like, I wonder what the consideration is, because maybe he's not getting the numbers that he wants from either side.
Yeah.
And you're kind of playing both sides right now, but eventually you could not have either. The Steelers could say, we're going to pull out of this. And the 49ers could say, you know what? We offered you a contract. You're unwilling to sign it.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything either. So come play on the $14 million that you have right now.
Right.
So I think a decision for him needs to be made quickly. Is it about going elsewhere and feeling like you're appreciated and respected? Is it about staying where you are and getting the money you think you deserve? I think a decision needs to be made for him probably in the next 24 to 48 hours, even that long.
The only thing I'm kind of sick of is like the 49 or Brandon Ayuk saying, you know what, they don't want me. No, they don't want you at that price because
it's not that they don't want you.
Yeah, stop. Now I get it. There's some hurt feelings. Maybe you're seeing all these other guys get contracts, and Brandon Ayuk's a really good player. But the Steelers, going back to them, you also have to justify, not only you have to satisfy Brandon Ayuk, but you also have to satisfy the 49ers. What are you going to give up?
Yeah.
Because right now, the 49ers are in a spot. This is not before the draft. This is not before free agency, where the 49ers have multiple opportunities to replace Brandon Ayuk. You're talking about the regular season starting in a couple of weeks. So what are you going to give up to satisfy the 49ers to give up a really good player? So there's a lot at work here. I wouldn't be shocked if the deal fell through or doesn't get off the ground ultimately to get to the finish line. And Brandon Ayuk just winds up playing 1 year for the 49ers.
Yeah, if they don't have enough that would help them this year, why not just do what the Jets did and say, we're not trading you?
Right.
Or you can sit out.
Yeah.
And not play, and you're going to have to pay us.
Rack up a bunch of fines.
Or you can go play for this other team that probably won't throw you the ball because they're a run-first offense.
Right. Or they'll acquire you anyways, and they'll throw it to your backup, which is the Arthur Smith way.
I feel like Brandon Ayuk is a really good receiver. He's not a number one.
No.
You don't think?
He's a really good. He could be your number one.
That sounds that's like Sonny Gray is an ace. He's your ace.
Kind of what I was thinking.
Brandon Ayuk was really good last year.
He's a really good player.
But he's also on a really good team. So the thing that makes it easier for you to kind of showcase your talents is when you got a lot of great players on the field with you.
Sure.
We talked about Juju Smith yesterday or a couple of days ago where he was extremely good when he had Antonio Brown on the opposite side of him.
Right.
Things changed when Antonio left. So it could be one of those things that maybe he's really good because of all of the weapons the 49ers have. Yeah. Or maybe he's just a really good football player and going elsewhere, he will be able to showcase that.
He's an outstanding route runner. He's got speed to burn. The skill set is there. I don't know if he's a number one from the standpoint of like, are you a number one? Certainly not like Tyreek Hill. Mm-hmm. Is he number one like CeeDee Lamb? Is he number one? Amon-Ra St. Brown is the number one in Detroit. They use him out of the slot. Doesn't matter. They like everything's on the line. Do they look? Is that who you're going to look for? Is Brandon Ayuk? I don't know.
I mean, he was seventh in receiving yards last year. He was the leading receiver on that team.
Put up really good numbers last year.
For the 49ers. Yeah. Like he is a really good football player. And he seems to want to be paid as such.
Yeah.
Which I can't blame him for.
All right, that'll do it here for What's Trending. We have the Sports Six-Pack coming up next. 314-399-9646. Send your questions to the Air Comfort Service text line, and we'll have them read off and answered next on 101 ESPN. The Missouri Athletic Club, perfect spots, I should say. Whether you're somebody that wants to kind of do your own thing, or if you got a family like I do, it's a perfect spot when it comes to the summertime. West Clubhouse, pools open, kids involved. The camps that they have for kids at the West Clubhouse, great as well. Or weekly routine for me, working out, prepping there for the radio show, always chatting with friends and other people from a networking standpoint. You go downtown, Cardinals games. Just went to the Cardinals game. Love to park there at the Missouri Athletic Club, take their shuttle over to Busch Stadium, watch the Cardinals, enjoy the game. The shuttle from the MAC puts it right back there, right by your car. Again, outstanding club. They've got a variety of things going on for the family, for you as an individual. That's my MAC, Missouri Athletic Club.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Doug Armstrong and the Blues have made an offer sheet to Edmonton's restricted free agents Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg. The Blues offered Broberg 2 years with an AAV of $4.5 million and some change. Compensation is a second-round pick. They offered Dylan Holloway 2 years with an average annual value of $2.2 and some change with the compensation being a third-round pick. We've talked about that today. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. The Cardinals are looking to bounce back from a 6-1 loss last night in Cincinnati. Eric Fetty on the mound going up against Hunter Green. First pitch is at 5:40. We have our Sports Six-Pack coming up next. So if you have a question you want to send our way, do so using the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Sports Six-Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy. Together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
All right, time for your questions via the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646 for the Sports Six-Pack. Marsh, go.
Question number 1.
Anthony, we just alluded to Sonny Gray in that last segment. We got a text from the 573 earlier today when we were discussing Sonny Gray. So, the guy who is not an ace is not an ace. The offense, they did nothing to upgrade, and it's still terrible. How is this playing out any different than expected?
It's not.
No. The record is better. Right?
It's better than a year ago, yes.
Everything.
Right.
The pitching got better. The record is better. It's better.
This is the whole budget conversation again. Did or did not the budget improve?
It did.
Did it go up or
did
not?
it go up or not?
$2 means it went up.
Yep.
200,000, it went up. The team is better.
That's kind of where we're
That's
at.
what you asked for, Anthony. You asked for better play. The record is better. The team is better. It just ain't good enough.
Are they better, or is the National League just worse?
They're better, Jamie.
I think they are better. I think the National League is pretty watered down.
618 should. Why are you so angry?
He hates everything.
That's kind of his
And
thing.
that's funny.
We're not allowed to laugh while being miserable. We're not allowed to.
I told him
we
a couple
can't
weeks
laugh.
ago you laugh to keep from crying.
We can criticize the Cardinals for 17 minutes straight and then giggle once, and it's funny.
Yep. And then he's done with us.
Oh, sorry about that. No, it's they are better, fellas. Just ain't good enough. That's how baseball go.
Carey's right. Nothing to add to that.
So what Carey said about laughing in order to mask the pain and crying reminds me of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. If you've seen that movie, he actually has like a medical condition where he laughs when he's in pain.
Yep.
Like he did. That's part of the lore of that particular Joker.
That
could be us.
Thanks for ruining it.
Yeah, thanks for ruining it.
And it's only been out for like 8
Actually, it's been out so long that the second movie's about to come out.
Jamie got around to it.
Jamie and I have been busy. We haven't seen it yet.
Honestly,
what year did it come out? Like 16 or 17?
A while ago. I think I was still in college.
Yeah, it's been around.
Jamie and I have got we got priorities. Okay?
Well, I will say the movie does make you feel a bit uncomfortable. I don't know.
It really does.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, you'll watch, you're like, I don't feel good about watching this.
Do tell.
It's uncomfortable.
In what way?
It came out in 2019.
What way?
It's only been out 5 years. You guys.
Thank you. It's only been out 5 years. Don't
Maybe
spoil
get
it.
around to it at some point.
All right.
It's like
not.
Anthony getting around to watching Top Gun.
Yeah.
We're still waiting.
Well, I've watched 15, 16 minutes of it.
That movie make you feel uncomfortable?
It did. Yeah. It really did.
Are those fighter pilots just too much action, huh?
A lot of action.
Clearly.
You know, I had thoughts about it, and I'm surprised that I was the only one to have these thoughts because I raised those thoughts to you guys.
It's kind of weird that you thought about it that
and
way.
you guys were like,
didn't see it that way.
You guys are like, no, I don't see it that way. And I'm like,
I
please,
still don't see it
please
that way.
watch it again. Please watch it again. And Jamie, I think you did.
Are you sure you were watching the right version?
Yes.
Yeah, I wonder that I did.
Mm-hmm.
Top Gun.
They have a couple of versions.
There's Top Cruise.
There's Top Gun.
Yeah.
There's another version called Top Guns.
Uh-huh.
One called
With a
Top
Z.
Top Buns.
Yeah.
So
Another Z.
You got to make sure you're watching the right one,
Right.
Anthony.
No, it was Tom Cruise.
Uh-huh.
It was Val Kilmer. Bunch of other dudes. And yeah, that was
some
right.
planes.
It's the right movie. And some planes.
All right.
Loud
Yeah.
planes.
Okay.
Question number 2.
From the 816, what is something you do that makes you feel like a child when doing it? For the 816, it's turning off the basement lights and running up the stairs.
Oh, my gosh. My boys, by the way, who are 20, and Haas is 6'5", 200 and whatever pounds, and Braden is, he's a 6 foot, like, husky dude, muscular. They still run up and down the stairs like I think there's a herd of buffaloes. Braden will come down like in the middle of the night to like make a snack.
Yeah.
All the lights are on. And then as he's when he's done, it's up the stairs as fast as he can. I'm like, what are you worried about? I don't know. I always feel like someone's chasing me. I'm like, what the hell? And it's hostile the same thing. You come up like, you can tell where my children have been throughout the night by the lights that are on the path. It's like breadcrumbs. They've left you like the map.
I know where you were last
Yes.
night.
You got to be prepared because the one time you walk up slow, you have no idea
What's behind
what
you.
person is going to grab your ankle and drag you down the stairs. And usually that person's got a strong grip. They don't have morning grip. They are grabbing you and pulling you down the stairs. I've seen too many documentaries where it happens.
Sure. Yeah.
I agree.
I have actually thought about that one time when they come down, like planning, because it's inevitable. They play their video games, and you can kind of hear a pause. I'm like, okay. I just go down, just hide. And as they're walking up the stairs, grab their ankle or grab their foot. Oh, the panic.
The panic
That might send them to the hospital.
Yeah. They've been waiting on it their entire life. It's never happened.
Their reaction to that might be maybe less than desirable.
You might get kicked, though.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, you might get, they're young men. You get kicked in the face, Jamie. You don't want to. He's taking a slap shot off the face. It doesn't bother you.
They're fine. They're too scared.
They take off running. Fight or flight, though.
I might get punched in the mouth. It's possible.
So my mom has this old doll, and I have like I don't have a ton of fears, but one of them is dolls. I hate dolls. Can't stand them. I don't like clowns either. But this doll my mom had, my brother would take the doll and wrap a knife in its hand. It was one of those dolls. I mean, this thing's old, where if you walk with it, it will walk with you. I'm telling you, this thing is freaky.
Wow.
It's got like that porcelain face where the eyes feel like they follow you.
Yes. It's got like a white T-shirt on. It's super creepy. But anyways, I walked into, this was when I was a little bit younger, I walked into the shower at the time, which was a walk-in shower. And you just take the curtains and just kind of rip them open. Well, I ripped open the curtains and the doll is standing in the corner with a knife in its hand. And that was one of those moments where I ran right up the stairs. I flipped the lights on and I ran up the stairs and shut the door. Eventually I had to go grab it, but that thing scared the you-know-what out of me.
That's incredible.
So here's a funny quick one. I forget what year it was, but we were watching the movie Psycho came on TV. And it was later at night, and I probably shouldn't have been up. And I think my dad maybe had a couple of bourbons in him or something. I don't know. He had seen the movie, it was out before I was, able to watch it. But I'm a little bit older at this point. He's watching the movie, and the scene in Psycho, I hate to be a spoiler alert, but it's 40 years old. The movie.
I think we're good there.
The guy rips the curtain. They're in the shower, and you rip the curtain back, and he
Yeah.
So we saw that part, and it was kind of disturbing to me as a young man. But then it was, I don't know, a couple of days later, we get in the morning and getting ready for school. My dad is in the shower. And my house where I grew up, the bathroom door didn't lock. It's like this old school door. It doesn't lock.
Sure.
So I creep in, rip the curtain back, and I've got the shaving cream. I'm going to be stabbing him with the shaving cream. Dude, I thought he was going to murder me. I ripped it open, and he was like, shampoo in his face. Fists were up. Then he dried off quickly, running around there trying to find me because I think he was going to whoop my ass. My mom was like, what are you doing in there?
I was playing a joke. I swear.
Question number 3.
From the 563, I'm coming down to St. Louis this weekend for the Dodgers series. Any recommendations for things to do while outside of the games? I do not drink, so please no bar recommendations.
Okay. The zoo. Honestly, we joke about it all the time, but I was just there. My guy Kyle Ulmer down at the zoo. They do a fantastic job, but they've added a few different things. They've got a new outdoor play area for all of the monkeys. They're not all in the building anymore. They're outside. They're doing their thing. The lions were out. It was a really great day. If you're not looking for a bar and you're looking for something that's going to be inexpensive, and it's a St. Louis thing, that's a strong suggestion.
What about the Arch? You guys?
I've never done the Arch.
You've never been in?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
I did it in 1994.
I went in.
It was a long procedure.
Yeah. You can ride up to the top.
It's different now, The elevator, does it still do the whole?
I don't know. I haven't
used
been.
to lean.
Yeah, it takes a while.
You're like,
I'm not a fan. But you can't go in if you've never been. If you didn't know, some people don't know, you can actually go in the arch and go up, especially if you're not from here. You can go to the very top and look out and see both sides of the city.
Yeah.
One side of the city and the other side, East St. Louis. But yeah, you go up there.
Still an attraction.
Yeah,
sure is.
Yeah, it is, especially around depending on what time you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
The aquarium's awesome. It
is
new-ish aquarium. They got the Ferris wheel down there too. That's a cool spot. My wife and I took Madeline and Killian to Six Flags. Which was great. We had an awesome time there. Forced the kids to get on the Screaming Eagle. They cried the entire time. Realized
they cried.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Was it because the wooden structure?
Yes,
is falling apart.
That's correct. Yeah. Madeline buried her head in Kristen's lap the entire time. She got up and she must have put her arm firmly into they got a little section there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She had a bruise. She pushed it so hard. We're like, you know what, guys? Let's find other rides to go on.
Guys, apparently we may want to rethink our arch.
I see it.
Apparently, people got stuck in the elevator yesterday. The arch is closed down today. So,
the Dodgers aren't in town until next week, though, right?
It'll be fixed.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I'm
It'll
so
be fixed.
claustrophobic. That's one of the reasons. The last time I went is the last time I'm going.
I don't blame you for that.
I'm claustrophobic. I have to take meds for MRIs.
Really?
Yeah, it's bad. Good meds.
Just knock me out. Stick me in there.
I fall asleep in those things.
All that banging doesn't bother you?
No, I like the banging, Carey. I do.
Everything I need to know.
Softball.
True psychopath. Yeah, softball's right. All right, Sports Six Pack. Number 2, next on 101 ESPN. One of the great things about the Happy Roof Company is that if you have an insurance claim that got denied, but you're looking out and you see all your neighbors are getting new roofs except for you, kind of a situation we're facing right now at our house, call the Happy Roof because they work well with insurance companies. And the Happy Roof, they should be your first call. Whether you got a leaky roof, an old roof, a damaged roof, maybe you got some hail damage there that, or you're somebody I can't get on the roof. I don't know if I got hail damage. Call the Happy Roof Company. In fact, they should be your first call because within 24 hours, they'll have somebody, after you call, somebody look at your issue. Great relationship with realtors, A+ rating with the BBB, up-to-date product knowledge, cost-effective solutions on flat roofing and metal roofs. If you just need an estimate, insurance company is already giving you, your payment when it comes to getting a new roof, but you just need a roofer that's going to give you an estimate, free estimates with competitive pricing. All courtesy of the Happy Roof Company. Give them a call, 314-665-3001. Again, 314-665-3001. TheHappyRoof.com is where you can find them online. Tell them Stalter sent you. It's the Happy Roof Company.
Answer the question.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, and Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh with part 2 of the Sports Six-Pack.
Question number 4.
This question comes from the 314. With all the conversation of athletes getting paid big money, how much does the athlete actually end up with after taxes, agent, lawyers, etc.?
Yeah, if you're lucky. And it depends on your situation, too, because, like, at one point in my career, I played on 3 teams in 3 years. I had 3 houses in 3 different cities.
That's tough.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're trying to
3
keep a home
mortgages.
base. Yeah, and you're trying to keep a home base somewhere. It was weird because I had a house here, I had a lake house in Canada, a house in Detroit where I was playing, and then when I got traded from Detroit, like, I was like, what? So you think about that, and the market was not great, so you're trying to sell a home, and you're not in that city to actually sell it.
Yeah, right.
So if you take in all of that to where you're maintaining, let's say, 2, maybe 3 different residences, you've got telephone, internet, all this stuff, all the same bills,
right,
just in duplicate or even triplicate. And even though you change some of the packages on your cable or whatever the heck you're doing, it ends up to be a lot. The agent takes their percentage. Uncle Sam takes their pretty much half.
46, 48%.
Pretty much half where you're at.
Before you even touch it.
And you got vehicles, you got kids, you got... So, depending, like, if you make $10, $11 million a year, like, you're fine.
Yeah.
$20 million, like, these guys, like, they don't have to worry. But I didn't make that money. The highest amount of money I ever made was $700,000 in 1 year. And, you know, that's a great living. But I played in New York at the time. And the tax rate was even higher in New York.
Yeah.
And I had a home here in St. Louis that I had a mortgage on. And my mortgage was less than what I was paying for my condo in New York.
That. Yeah.
So when all was said and done and everything, I came home with basically the same amount of money as if I would have made, you know, $300,000.
Yeah.
It's and then you pay taxes. You pay taxes in every city you play in. Every state you play in.
I didn't know that until
I didn't either till I did my taxes the first time. I was like, what do you mean? I don't live in Ohio.
I think Dung told me that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
You must have went through it with Bristol.
I did.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. And whoever I worked with, they're like, well, you also worked for ESPN, so you got paid taxes in Connecticut. I'm like, come again? But I worked there, technically, so I owed taxes there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was weird.
Again, the super high-paid athletes are feeling it, not as much. But the lower, like, league minimum guys, they feel it more because they have to live in some of the same areas as the other guys. And
yeah, it's tough.
You learn that early, though.
Yeah.
Like, I learned early, like, I can't spend like that person. I shouldn't spend like that person. Then there was a couple of people, I'm like, what do they do? We make the same amount of money. How do you have that? Found out they wasn't doing the right thing.
They weren't doing the right thing.
Right.
I remember, I tell the story to these guys before me. I don't know if I've told you that when I went to Detroit, the players all lived in an area called Birmingham. It was like the second highest median income in the zip code in the United States. Beverly Hills was the first one. That is Birmingham, Michigan. And so Holly's like, hey, you got to get a place with all the guys. This is where we all live. And meanwhile, they're all Hall of Famers.
Right.
So we're going from house to house, and they're ripping down these old little houses, and they're building these massive houses like that are deep, like front to back, not wide, but deep. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, I can't afford a place like this. Then I found one for sale, but it was for sale because they were just selling it to be torn down.
No.
I said, sold. I walked in, it had 1 bathroom, it had 3 bedrooms. One of the bedrooms was more like a closet. I was like, I don't care. It was me and my ex-wife, and we had Carson, and the twins were just born, so they weren't even walking yet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they don't need anything. There's a living room, there you go, put the play mat down, and we're good. But yeah, that's how I managed to live in that.
That's awesome.
To keep up with the Joneses, I basically bought a garage.
Hey guys, come on over. You know what? We'll go over to your place.
Dinner at my house.
We'll come over.
We'll have to
come over here.
rotate through the kitchen.
Question number 5.
Well, speaking of hockey from 636, what are your thoughts on Austin Matthews taking over the captaincy in Toronto with John Tavares still on the team? Have you seen this before?
Yeah, I saw it firsthand here in St. Louis. Brett Hull was stripped of the captaincy under Mike Keenan, and it was given to Shane Corson, who then gave it to Wayne Gretzky. That was a weird year. A lot going on. I've seen it with the Dallas Stars. Mike Modano was stripped of the captaincy, was given to Brendan Morrow. Dustin Brown lost the C to, I believe, Anse Kopitar. It happens. It's a franchise that's declaring that the next leader is already in the clubhouse, and it's time to move on.
How is it met? Oftentimes.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
Joe Thornton had it happen to him in San Jose. Patrick Marleau had it happen to him as well. Look, John Tavares is not the player he was when the Leafs signed him. That doesn't mean you have to be the same level of player, but the team is clearly Austin Matthews' team.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of the Toronto Maple Leafs, you think of Austin Matthews.
Sure.
It's time for him to lead this team, and it's time for him to take those next steps. And at the same time, I think it's good for the team to put this pressure on him, because now Craig Berube can sit there and talk to him and say, hey, listen, you're the captain. You're the captain. You're no longer the wingman. You're the captain of the team here.
Yeah.
So this team's going to go how you go. And maybe that brings Austin Matthews to a level he hasn't even achieved yet.
Makes sense.
I like it. I don't think it's going to be a problem.
All right. We're still taking your mic drops on which approach to roster building that you prefer, whether it's John Mozeliak or Doug Armstrong. So keep sending those mic drops in. We're also going to discuss, what do you got, Marsh?
Well, we just have one more question.
Oh,
you got one more?
All right, real quick.
Marshy wanted this one out there.
Yeah.
He even set it up. You ignored him.
No, I didn't ignore him. Go ahead,
Kind of
Marsh.
did.
Question number 6.
From the 618.
I remember now.
When the Cardinals don't make the playoffs, what is the excuse that the front office will use and sell to the fans?
Yeah, the veterans didn't pull their weight.
You also forgot. We'll discuss that next on 101 ESPN.
When it comes time to sell your home, you're going to need a reliable, experienced, and trusted agent. Take it from me and get to know St. Louis's real estate expert, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Here's why you should call Gloria. Gloria's name is her promise, and it says it all. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria has mastered the art of selling your home by guaranteeing upfront and in handwriting to sell your home at the agreed upon price and time frame, or she will buy it herself, and she guarantees all of that in handwriting. I don't know too many agents that do that. I also don't know a lot of agents that have over 1,000 ready, willing, and able buyers. That drives a lot of traffic to your listing. Hopefully that creates those multiple offers that you're looking for and more money in your pocket. And the key to this is getting to the closing table, and Gloria Liu will help you do that. All you have to do is give Gloria Liu a call. Tell Jamie Rivers sent you in. Her number's 314-325-6888. Again, that's 314-325-6888. Or you can always visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. And don't forget, Gloria and the seller must agree upon the sales price and possession date.
If the Cardinals don't play the best team and actually try to make the playoffs, then wait till they see how few people show up for the rest of the games. This is ridiculous. You don't just play people because they're on the roster. You play who earns the position to be playing.
Well said, Janet. She's absolutely right. I imagine she left that mic drop during the discussion that we had about Lance Lynn when he comes off the IL and who he replaces in the starting rotation if he does re-enter the starting rotation. And we all assume, not that we want it, but we all assume that it's going to be Andre Palante. So I imagine, again, that Janet left that mic drop when we had that conversation. It is the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. It also sets up perfectly about, and the final question the Sports Six-Pack does too, if the Cardinals miss the playoffs this season, who does the fault ultimately belong to? Like, if you were handing out blame pie, who gets the biggest piece of the pie? Because I think there's plenty to go around, quite frankly.
If they miss the playoffs.
If they miss the playoffs. I'm dishing out.
I'm going to say Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado.
Okay.
Equally, 50-50.
So you're basically putting the blame pie in front of them.
Best
with
players,
2 forks.
highest paid players.
Yeah,
it's on them.
I was going to go with roster construction, but Carey's right, man. Those two guys are $60 million together of your payroll, and they have not been impactful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at any point this season, neither of them have put the fear into the opposition. From an offensive standpoint, they've still made some really good plays defensively, and like, I'm not taking that away from them. But, my initial thought was, well, John Mozeliak really went and got some recycled parts and tried to claim it as brand new, basically. Sonny Gray was the big shiny toy. And that experience, that experiment, we'll see how it fares out ultimately.
It's been mostly good. The last
mostly good.
5 starts have been,
which is concerning, though, because this is the biggest time of the year.
Uneven.
That you need that guy, and he's not giving you that number one or ace performance. But yeah, I think for me, it's got to fall on the players.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and it's got to fall on your 2 highest paid players, because Contreras is contributing, Burleson's giving you more than what you thought, and Wynn is giving you more than what you thought.
Right.
Could you say Gorman has been less than what you thought? Yeah, you could.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan's about the same as he always is. You didn't have Tommy Edman all year. Lars has been disappointing.
Yep.
So to me, it's the players.
Yeah, I got to go there too. I mean, we can throw everything at Mo, and ultimately it is his roster. So he does have to take ownership in it. Did he ultimately make the upgrades necessary to improve this team? Yeah, but only slightly. Because here's the thing. Yeah, because here's the thing. He did the bare minimum.
I asked did he because
he patched the holes.
Just because you add players isn't the only way you make your team better.
I completely
Sometimes subtracting a player or 2 can make your team better. And subtraction, we call it addition by subtraction, right? Paul Goldschmidt being one of those players that if you were looking at it last year, maybe going in a different direction, maybe even Nolan Arenado going in a different direction. And I understand why they didn't do it, because your expectations are these are 2 potentially future Hall of Fame players. No way we're getting rid of these guys, but what could you have gotten in return? Your pitching staff got better from last year. That's not setting the bar very high because it was really terrible last year. But offensively, this team isn't better. Like, they aren't scoring in a way that makes you feel like we can win the division.
That goes into what you guys just said, though, about Goldschmidt and Arenado and the conversation that we had throughout the course of the year. Wilson Contreras pulled his weight and more so before the injury and is still doing so.
Yeah, he is.
So he's not an issue. Brendan Donovan has been a productive player. Donovan should be hitting 6. Not 4, not 5. He should be hitting 6. He's a perfect 6-hole hitter. Lars Nootbaar has done nothing this year. Nothing. He's either been hurt or unproductive. So again, nothing. Jordan Walker, not blaming the kid at all. He needed another year of seasoning, but it is what it is. He was expected to take that next step. He did not. Mason Wynn has exceeded all expectations. Even the most optimistic Mason Wynn fan cannot say that they saw this coming out of Mason Wynn. He's now leading it. So it really does come back to two players, the two guys that are making a truckload of money that should be hitting in the middle of your order and should be productive in the middle of your order. Goldschmidt and Arenado are only up there now again because nobody else is really taking the reins.
You have nobody else.
Burleson's been great. So it really does come back to those two centerpieces not producing like you thought they were going to produce.
We get a text from the 636 says, you guys are right, but I think Goldie gets a little less slice of the blame. The guy is 36.
Sorry, not sorry.
Not my fault. He's still making $25 or $27 million this year.
I think what the texter is trying to say, though, is he's too old. You can't take his house.
Can't take his house?
Yeah.
I would absolutely take his house. That thing is a really nice house.
It's too old.
It's too old.
Get a text from the 314. You guys are so clueless.
Thank you.
Wilson
Thanks.
Contreras is part of the problem.
Well, he is.
Is he?
We can't throw out runners. He's so bad at defense. That's why Pages is always playing.
That's why Contreras' numbers have all gone up when it comes to catching metrics. So
yes.
Go have another one.
Yep. I think who you're thinking of is Ivan Herrera,
Correct.
who's down in Memphis.
Well, I mean, all of them aren't that great at throwing runners out. We had the numbers yesterday.
You're right, but
the pitching staff, too, has been suckola when
the
it
whole
comes
team
to...
stinks, Anthony.
I'm with you. Well, hold on. That's not fair. It really isn't.
Okay, Brandon.
They're painfully average. Okay? Marsh, they're painfully average. Let's be fair to them. They're meh. You know what I mean? They're not
6-1 to the Reds yesterday.
They're not bad.
With their best pitcher on the mound.
They're right there in the middle.
We get another text from 618. Here it says, if Goldie and Arenado are going, how much does it impact the other guys? A lot.
Significantly.
Because the weight is off of the shoulders of Tommy Pham, of Alec Burleson, of Jordan Walker, you name it.
If they're hitting the way they normally have in the middle of the lineup, it makes a huge difference.
Life is easier for everybody else.
Huge difference.
And that's why you're paid X amount of dollars, because that's the expectation.
Yeah.
Like if I expected Jordan Walker to do that, I would be paying him $30 million.
Yeah.
Like the expectation is I pay you a large amount of money because I expect when you come up to bat at this time, you're going to make something good happen.
We get another text that says, Wilson's bat has been good, but he jeopardizes the lineup with his bad defense. Guys, again, go look at the catching metrics. His game is up from where it was last year. And I know that there have been a lot of stolen bases. I would love to know the percentage of stolen bases when Wilson Contreras is behind the dish, because he has a cannon for an arm. His pop time is average, but he's got a cannon for an arm.
And we talked about this yesterday. It's almost as simple as blaming every sack on the quarterback.
Right.
To me, that lets me know you probably don't know what's going on, because blaming every sack on the offensive line, because there are times where the quarterback needs to get rid of the football. There are times where people are stealing on the catchers and they are 2 to 3 steps down the baseline before the ball is even out of his hand. The catcher has no chance.
Oh, the pitcher's slow in his windup.
They're not holding runners on well enough. They're not throwing over. They're not controlling the base paths by changing up when they go to the play. It's part of your job. I can't throw him out if I don't have the ball and he's already halfway there.
Right.
So it's a problem for the entire team. It's not just the catchers. It's not. Now, Ivan Herrera, it was really bad. He couldn't even get the ball there.
Yeah.
But, I think Pages got stolen on a couple of times last night. The Cardinals are second. They might be first now, but they were second in stolen bases allowed.
Yeah.
Against the team that's stealing the most bases in the league right now.
Right.
They're going to steal 4 more bases tonight. Mark it down. If they get on base, they're stealing. They're going to be at second base with no outs. And they're going to score.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Somebody texts and says, it's Wilson Contreras' problem? What is this, Jack Flaherty texting?
So Wilson Contreras ranks 43rd in caught stealing percentage at 16%. I believe he's thrown out 3 runners this year.
In how many? Because that matters.
Well, whatever the math is.
I think I got 7.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's not like
4.
I think
15. He's thrown out 4.
Me?
Out of all the stolen bases this year, I'd like to know how many were against Wilson Contreras.
So
as
I got
opposed
the numbers
to Pages or Herrera. Because Herrera
has 41 stolen bases against him. Pages has 40. Wilson has 32.
Okay. So he's the lesser of 3 evils.
They all have about the same number of games.
They all stink.
Yeah, they're not good.
You know what?
Anthony!
What?
painfully average.
I'm sorry. You're right. Let me take a second.
Come on.
Actually, no. In this case, I think they're horrible. Like, overall, holding runners on, throwing them out.
Collectively. They stink. The entire group, pitcher, catcher.
Yeah.
Collectively.
Yes.
Somebody says, how many times have we watched Contreras use that cannon to throw it over the second baseman's head?
Well,
I didn't say he was accurate.
Look, man, sometimes you got to show off the guns.
I didn't say he was accurate. I said he's thrown hard.
We got a text from the
314. The
314.
bullpen, maybe.
This is awful.
314 says, this team took on the personality of its parents. Front office, ownership, development, coaching staff, inconsistency has filtered down. It's about culture. I agree with him.
Yeah. I mean, it ultimately does start at the top.
What's the culture?
Should we talk about Dion? Or was that chemistry that he ripped apart a media member? I think you're talking about chemistry,
it was
not
chemistry.
culture.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think the culture has changed. I think that's why Cardinals fans ultimately have a problem with it. I don't think this team has an identity outside of it's boring as hell.
It's a text from the 636.
Is that fair?
The older, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. The older players never recovered from the pitch clock and now die on that hill. I did think about this the other day. When Nolan Arenado, he was one of those players that stepped out every single at bat, fixed his gloves, did all the twerking, twitching. Like what? He did.
He's out there in the batter's box. He's twerking.
He's twerking and twitching and fiddling and
Nobody
fidgeting.
bothered me more than Harrison Bader.
The fans here in St. Louis love his twerk.
I wonder if that was bothering him.
I don't know.
Man, that sounds
sure.
Because he is no.
It just
because
sounds
we
like
talked about
I know.
him. Well, you know,
It might be.
it's something you've been doing for 12 years.
Yeah.
Fidgety. And now you got to sit. My son doesn't like to sit still. He gets fidgety.
He's 10.
Exactly. He's 12.
12.
It's not fair.
We don't
You
even
didn't
go
give
to
him
the
multiple
movies.
choice.
If you can't hit a baseball because you need to twerk outside of the batter's box,
You got an issue.
you have a major
Okay,
issue.
guys, I honestly want to see somebody go up to the plate tonight and just twerk.
One time.
Drop that down. Drop down. Get your eagle on, girl.
Nolan, Meg the Stallion, Arenado.
There you go.
It's not a bad idea.
At this point, what could hurt? Just try it.
Good call there. All right, which approach to roster building do you prefer? We had this conversation earlier. We asked you for some mic drops, Mo or Army. Which style, which approach do you prefer when it comes to roster building? We'll get back into that next on 101 ESPN.
Save money on your car or your home insurance with Tracy Bibb and Allstate. They have some of the most competitive rates. And one thing that you have to be aware of is the proper coverage. That is the big thing. And Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency will make sure that you have the proper coverage for all of your needs. And you'll also get that personal attention from your agent that you deserve, not just a 1-800 number where you call and get somebody different all the time. One thing about Tracy Bibb is going to work with you to make sure that, again, when you're getting your coverage, it is the right exact coverage for you and the situation, because if something happens, and it will, and you're not covered properly, that's when things are bad, and that's where the Bibb Agency, they step in and they treat you like family, like they have for me. I've been a customer now, or a client of theirs for over 5 years now, and they've been awesome, have taken care of many things for me, including, my daughter getting an a fender bender, and having to call Tracy Bibb from the side of the road, and Tracy walks her through the process. You don't get that kind of personal attention from every insurance agent out there. So please call Tracy Bibb for a free non-committal quote today. Her number's 314-328-4260. Again, that's 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
Fastline on 101 at ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. So we asked for your mic drops about the approach that you prefer when it comes to building a roster, whether it's Mo's approach or it is Doug Armstrong's approach. And we're giving Doug a lot of praise today for basically taking the Oilers behind the woodshed and giving the 0-1-2. So I'm sure we're going to get a fair amount of people leaning toward Army, but who knows? Let's hear from Michael, who left this mic drop earlier.
Call it a cop-out answer, but I think the best approach is a little bit of a mix between the two. You know, Mo, who maybe is a little more cautious at times, needs to realize, you know what, sometimes you just got to go for it. And Armstrong, who sometimes goes for it, maybe needs to realize the risks a little more often. So really a happy medium between both of them would be the ideal approach. But who says that's ever going to happen?
Can I say something?
Sure.
About that mic drop?
Yeah.
An absolute cop-out by Michael. Can't have it both ways, Michael. Come on.
Michael sat right on that fence.
He sat right on it,
He
didn't
didn't even lean one way or the other.
He didn't.
No, he was like Simone Biles on the balance beam.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in all honesty, I think Michael's right. If you combine the two.
But we can't, Anthony.
I know.
We can't. So
if Michael's not going to play by the rules, why should we?
Yeah, why can't you pick both? Why can't you take a little bit from each?
Because that wasn't the question. The question is which one do you think is better?
Do you always play by the rules?
No.
Okay, then.
No, but I don't
think he ever has.
I don't think he ever has. I mean, in hockey, he kind of had to.
He was rooster beaking out there all the time.
This is true.
Slashing.
Do you know what
is a rooster beacon?
So
I have no clue what that is.
So most of the times a guy.
It's what I would do if I were a hockey player, I think.
So I'm a left-handed shot, and I hold my top of my stick in my right hand and bottom hand lower. So when you get to the front of the net, usually when guys are like shoving, most everybody drops the blade side, holds onto the top, and then they shove with both their hands, like up in the guy's face or whatever. Well, somebody told me one time, said, why don't you drop your top hand So I drop my top hand. Now you got the stick blade.
Okay.
And then when you shove, the stick blade's like a rooster beak. Hits the guy in the face, splits him open. Referee has no idea what happened because he just saw you shove him.
Right.
You didn't slash him in the face, but you did.
Yeah.
You did with the rooster beak. So you did the rooster beak a few times. And, oh, yeah.
Got a few guys.
Guys start pumping the brakes before they get to the net at that point.
See?
Okay. I like it.
Carey, what approach would you ultimately?
I want
like if you were a GM.
I would like to be aggressive with caution, if that's even possible.
It's not.
Like, I think, making aggressive decisions when it's time to go for it, and then when it's not, when there's no path to get the thing that I need most, then either not doing anything or being less aggressive. I think Mo is kind of to the point now he's gotten burned on a few pitchers, which we all know about, Zach Gallen and Sandy Alcantara, and it seems to me that there's a bit of a hesitancy to make that trade that brings back a player that turns into be Dexter Fowler or Marcell Ozuna or whoever it is that you feel like it was a great deal at the time, it was a great decision at the time, and then when they get here, they don't perform to the level that you need them to. And then there's frustration from everybody. And so I think for me, I would prefer, having better foresight on guys. Like I said, if you got Nolan Gorman who's not going to be playing every day, and he's not actually going to map out or end up being Kyle Schwarber, then you probably should have traded him. If you got a Paul Goldschmidt who is 37 years old, 2 years removed from an MVP season, you probably should have traded him last year. So better ability to, as best as you can, predict the future, which is not, it's never a guarantee, but that's also your job.
Yeah.
Like it's like playing the stock market. You have to be able to predict what's going to happen.
Right.
You trade, sell, sell high, buy low. Like you have to be able to predict what's going to happen. And if you can't, then you cannot be in this position.
You have to at least make more. You have to at least make better predictions than most.
So here's where I side with Army's way of doing things. Is Army has not been afraid. To your point, Carey, like Nolan Gorman, you probably should have got it out from under that. Or Paul Goldschmidt, probably should have moved him last week. Army would have.
Right.
He would have. And if Goldie goes off and has an MVP-esque season this year, Army would be considered to be, well, that was a terrible idea, but go 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, see what it looks like for you. I'd rather have a president of operations that is aggressive. I don't mean like reckless, aggressive. Knowing when you need parts or certain players and going and getting those, the people that can actually help your team, not the people that can just keep your team mediocre.
And I think that, and Jamie, you brought this up before, and it's actually my main complaint about Mo, who, look, he gets a lot of crap. I feel like we try to be balanced at times. We try to give him credit where credit is due. But one of my biggest chief complaints about Mo is almost this lack of creativity. Doug Armstrong will think outside the box. He'll have a plan per offseason that is not just, okay, I need a defenseman. I'll get that defenseman. I'll kick up my feet. We're good. Mm-hmm. Like he's got this approach to him. Let me rephrase this. Every offseason's unique to Army. This offseason has not looked like it did a year ago. And I'm talking about the overall approach. I'm not talking about who they signed, who they traded for, all that stuff. The trade deadline will match the offseason. There's some foresight, there's some creativity to his roster construction. Each offseason for the Cardinals is incredibly predictable. The Goldschmidt trade, I think, was the last time I was like, wow. Because the Nolan Arenado one, you kind of got the sense of like, oh, he wants to be dealt. He was fighting with the Colorado front office. He started to hear some chatter. That smoke turned into fire. Okay. But when was the last time Mo really like wowed you, really surprised you? There's our answer.
Been a while.
Yeah.
Been a while.
Exactly. There's not a lot of creativity there. That doesn't make him bad. It doesn't make him, not fit for the job. Doesn't mean he hasn't had success.
Very seldom.
It is a very steady Eddie approach.
Very seldom do you wake up in the morning and go, Mo did what?
Bleep. Right.
Like today, we woke up this morning and Army offer sheeted 2 players for the Oilers.
Yes.
We don't it just hasn't happened.
Right.
So I guess that's the difference.
And you know what, too, in fairness to Mo, he used to fleece teams. Like, I don't think whoever the previous general managers, not Kleinblum, but the previous general managers in like 10 years ago for Boston, they had to stop picking up the phone when Mo called. Because Alan Craig was never going to be right again. The foot injury that he suffered, unfortunately, that was it. He packaged up him and Joe Kelly and got John Lackey. And he created a situation where he's like, I know I need some sandpaper. I'm going to package up these 2 guys. I'm going to send them off to Boston. And Boston didn't get necessarily fleeced, but Alan Craig should have been kind of the guy you were looking like a gem of that trade. It didn't work out. Then Mo flipped Edward Mojica for somebody in Boston. Boston's GM's like, you know what? I'm just not going to pick up the phone anymore. That's what Mo should do every time Tampa calls. Anytime the Rays are on line 1, he should say, whoever his office manager is, just say, you know what? Hang up the damn phone. It's the Rays. I don't want to get fleeced today.
Yeah, it seems like his moves have progressively gotten worse.
Yes.
And that leads me to think that this is more on the ownership group.
That, you know what? And that's fair. Maybe we should include that as a package deal. We do that with the Blues sometimes, with Army and the ownership group. Mo and the ownership group go hand in hand because Mo is following the budget. There's only so much he can do. That doesn't excuse him for making some of the moves and some of the bad decisions, but that also he's handcuffed. And we got the text about Bryce Harper. Like, oh, well, you didn't sign Bryce Harper. Well, he needed a truckload of money and 10-plus years.
Yeah.
So he wasn't going to get that from ownership. All right, we'll move on. Beat the streak. Biggest question of the day next on 101 ESPN. We have a pair of doors in the back of our home that need a lot of work. And we're just talking about two doors, but 2 doors that have a lot of issues that are creating some problems for us in our home. So we call Mosby Building Arts. Now, you may think that Mosby only does big projects like full basement remodels or maybe the kitchen remodel or master bath remodel. But at Mosby Building Arts, no project is too small. So we had Mosby Building Arts come out. Rich came out. He looked at the issue, took the right measurements for us, kind of laid out what we're looking at, what they would need to do to fix the issue. It provided us with certain style points that we could look at, like style options that we could look at. And we know that Mosby Building Arts, once they start our project, it's going to be done right the first time. If you call a bunch of different contractors hoping that you're going to get the absolute cheapest price, a lot of times you get what you pay for. But at Mosby Building Arts, whether you do have a full kitchen remodel or you are looking at a smaller project like we are in the Stalter households, you know that Mosby's going to do it right the first time. You're going to get what you pay for, and you're going to work with the absolute best. Give them a call, 314-909-1800, or visit them at callmosby.com. Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Big news of the day, Doug Armstrong and the Blues have made an offer sheet to Edmonton's restricted free agents Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg. If you missed any of that, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com. You can check out all of the conversations we had on that specific topic today. Just head to the podcast page. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. The Cardinals looking to bounce back in Cincinnati. They start here in 3 minutes, so that means we got to get to beat the streak and biggest question of the day. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
To hit baseballs. All of my successes depend on me.
You're ready to hit.
The hits just keep on coming. And his first big league hit is a bullet up the middle.
All right, time to play Beat the Streak here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. And we got our guy Chase back for round 2.
No, we have...
oh, sorry.
We have Dan.
Dan. What's up, Dan? Was Chase the other day?
I have no idea who Chase is.
Didn't we have a Chase one time?
I don't know.
In anything?
Maybe.
Maybe like a year ago.
Chase Fields?
I don't know.
Playing the Diamondbacks in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Okay. Dan, I apologize. What's up, Dan?
Not much. Doing well.
All right. Dan, you're going first tonight. Congratulations, man. Go for it.
I will take the well-rested Alec Burleson.
Damn it, Dan.
You know how many times I hear that?
I'm sure a lot. All right. Marsh, who's up next?
Carey is up next.
Give me Ellie De La Cruz.
Oh, what did he ever do?
He's pretty good. He don't understand. He's pretty good.
Me. All right, I'm up. I'm going to go with... Nolan Arenado.
You saw that graphic. You liked
I
what
did.
you saw, huh?
He's hitting pretty
12
good.
games.
12 games. Tonight will be the one he doesn't hit.
Give me Spencer Steer.
Oh, come on.
A little recency bias there.
No,
He's just saying that because he wanted to pick him.
That's not true. That's not true at all. Give me Tyler Stevenson.
There you go.
Since Spencer Steer's off the board. All right, Dan. Sorry I called you Chase. You're chasing 2
History.
tonight. So
Chasing
go get
greatness.
them. Yeah, we'll talk to you again tomorrow, Dan.
2 in a row. It has happened before.
There you go.
Well said. All right, buddy. We'll see you. All right, time for the biggest question of the day now.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
Before we get into the biggest question of the day, Anthony, you're not the only person to get someone's name wrong. One of our listeners, of course, because last week we had a Gauntlet contestant that wanted to shout out his son and his birthday. And in the middle of that segment, not even 5 seconds after he said his child's name, Jamie wished a happy birthday to the wrong person.
Oh, no.
It was incredible. What was this kid's name? Dylan?
The kid's name was Dylan.
And I kept calling him Logan.
You tried.
It was one of those.
He was in the car. Happy birthday, Logan. He was like, his name's Dylan.
It was one of those. Anthony, it was like Go Pelicans. Remember that?
Yeah, of course I do.
He's like, I just want to shout out my son's birthday. You know, happy birthday, Dylan. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah, happy birthday, Logan. I hope you enjoy it. Then I did it again after. I'm like, I just want to apologize to Logan. I mean,
double down. He did.
It was unreal.
Of course, Logan is as close to Dylan as Chase is to Dan. I mean, like,
there was a glitch in the Matrix.
I hear you. It happens. The Pelicans story, by the way, real quick. So when was it Madeline? I think
it was Madeline's class during the Blues run.
So during the Blues run in 2019, when Madeline, my daughter, was in preschool, they would have like theme days, and one of the themes was the Blues. So my wife Kristen's like, "Hey, do you think Jamie would record a video just to send to the class. I could play in the class. I said, absolutely. Jamie will definitely do it. And of course, Jamie was more, he's like, yeah, of course, man. Get the 101 ESPN background in. I'm shooting him. And he gives this like awesome message to the class. And at the end, he goes, go Pelicans. And I put the phone down. I go, dude, that was awesome. They're the flamingos. Because they have different, like the preschool have different animals. Yeah, she was a flamingo. Yeah, go Pelicans.
Oh, man.
Close enough.
It happens.
That's right. He re-recorded it.
I did.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, to the biggest question of the day. We got a text from the 314, and we've been talking about which approach to roster building do you prefer. And we got a text, based off of this question from the 314. At first thought, I automatically said Doug Armstrong. But after I really thought about Mo, actually has the Cardinals closer to a World Series than Army has the Blues to a Stanley Cup. Do you agree with that statement?
Well, the problem with that, though, is when's the last time the Cardinals won the World Series?
11.
And the Blues won it in 2019.
Right.
So the Cardinals should be closer. They've had so much more runway to build their team properly over the years. Draft picks, developing, free agents, trying to get back to that contending window. Whereas Army, it's inevitable for most teams is you run into some salary cap problems following a championship. You got some older players that help you in. You got to trade those guys. You got to try and draft and the Blues, because of their success recently, haven't had high draft picks up until the last 2 drafts.
Yeah.
So what can you build with that? It takes a little bit longer. So yeah, the Cardinals might be closer, but are they really?
Yeah, I guess you could go. I guess you could go either way on that. That's an interesting. When you said that, Jamie, I think that makes a lot of sense. Where the Cardinals have had more time to build it up, and the Blues now, 2019. That unfortunately, that we're getting a little bit further away from that. So if it was 2020, certainly, or 21, I'd say, well, no, the championship window is still open for the Blues. But I agree with what you said. They've had a lot more time, a lot more draft classes come through, a lot more trade opportunities, a lot more whatever.
And are the Cardinals that much closer? Because they didn't make the playoffs.
I don't think I don't think that these last 2 years I've watched, I don't feel like they're closer.
It's about the same.
Feel like area. Yeah, I might even say the Blues are closer because they feel like they're turning their roster over quicker with the expectation of better players to come in and contribute sooner. I don't think the Cardinals are close to a World Series at all.
Yeah, no, you can't.
No.
You can't. I mean, they're sitting there right now out of playoff contention.
Yeah.
Again. So, no, you can't. You can't say it. The Cardinals will not score a run in the top of the first. Wilson Contreras did double. And Arenado smoked one.
3 miles an hour. There's a check swing.
Back to the
65.
pitcher. Yep.
I thought we're playing baseball, not pepper.
Yeah, no, good call.
Yeah. Not great.
Not great at all. All right. Again, that was biggest question of the day. We've got Bet the Board, 3 stars of the day, criticisms, compliments, all coming up next on 101 ESPN.
Are you remodeling your home? Maybe you're putting in some new windows. Well, please call my friends at Window World. They are simply the best for less. And if you already have Window World windows, remember that Window World can also do sliding glass doors and doors overall. All of your remodeling needs they can take care of when it comes to doors, sliding doors, and windows. They're also ranked number 1 in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. Their windows, we've talked about it before. It's a double strength glass that you just don't find in ordinary windows, or replacement windows, certainly. Less breakage, better efficiency. They also give you a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts, the glass breakage, and the labor. And when you get in there to Window World, please tell them that Jamie Rivers from 101 ESPN sent you in there. That will qualify you for a drawing to win some Blues tickets down the line. And let's not forget that they are offering up to 36 months same as cash financing with approved credit. So please make Window World your first call, and that number is 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800, or you can visit them at windowworldstlouis.com.
If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast, available at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN mobile app, all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. You can also join 101 ESPN for the second annual Blues and Brews on Friday evening, September 20th at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. Get fired up for the blues season at this outdoor street party featuring live music from country music star Matt Stell and St. Louis's own Charles Glenn Group, plus appearances by blues players and alumni, food trucks, 101 giveaways, and much more. Tickets are just $20 and they're on sale now. You can learn more at 101ESPN.com. Marsh informed us that we all hit our Bet the Board picks last night. Nice job, gentlemen.
Nice. Fellas.
So, Marsh, do you have updated standings?
Yes, so Carey is still in the lead. Jamie will go second with 5 points. Anthony, you're right behind him with 4, and I have 2.
So
Carey has, what, 6?
6.
Yeah. So
we're close.
Jamie was spot on. My bets, I've usually been going Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto.
Sure.
The number's a little high today, so I'm going to go in a different direction. Give me Mookie Betts, 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at -150.
Wow.
Damn you. Carey Davis.
Carey Davis.
No, I'm not doing that right now. All right, I'm going to go right back to the well. Astros are playing the Rays. They're -125 in the money line. Got old Kikuchi on the bump. Can never go wrong with that, Anthony. Houston.
Aren't they playing?
No.
They just started.
All right, you're good.
We said
you're good.
We made the rule.
It's
you. You all did.
You're -136. You're good. You're safe, Jamie. You're safe here with all of us.
Thank you, Anthony. I've never felt more safe.
Yeah. No need to feel careful about that. All right, guys.
Do you not have one, Anthony? Do you
Yeah, I'm between a couple. Okay, I'm between jobs.
Today, Junior.
No. There's no rush. Give me. Let's go with Charlie Morton.
Oh boy.
Over in strikeouts.
What is it?
It is right now. Sorry. Still holding. There it is. 5.5 at -148.
It's good.
Not bad, right?
I like that call.
It was up and down.
No, I like it.
Thank you.
Give me the Minnesota Twins at -124 over the Kansas City Royals.
Okay. Twins had a big night last night.
They did. Kansas City not that great on the road.
No, sir. Bobby Witt's great everywhere, though. He would be great on Mars.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
I don't know if
He'd
the,
be
I
great.
don't know if
Bobby
the ball would
Witt-
fly.
Bobby Witt
How
could
does
hit.
ball travel?
He might just go straight up.
That's how good that guy is.
Burn up.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Because he's red hot.
Ready for criticisms and
Just like the
compliments.
sun, Jamie.
And
Go ahead, Andrew.
Spencer Steer.
Just power through
He's
it.
red hot, too. Is he? He is. 3-2 count.
All right. Marsh, go ahead.
FedEx Brian, Doug Armstrong is an assassin.
Yeah, he
That's
is.
got to be a compliment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time. It's like us calling somebody a psychopath.
Yeah.
It's actually a compliment.
The Water Boy said, and we talked about this earlier in the show.
Marsh, you just increased your bet the board to 1.
What?
Steer got a hit. I'm sorry, not bet the board. Beat the streak.
Gotcha.
My bad.
You're confusing me.
He's hot, too.
I gave him some good news.
Confused him.
Sorry.
Anyways, we were
Should feel that
talking
way.
earlier in the show, and a listener wanted to know some recommendations around St. Louis, and we said, why don't you go take a trip to the Arch? Anthony, you don't know this, but the Waterboy said last week you killed the wrong guy. This week you send fans into a potential death trap.
We did actually kill
It's all Carey's fault.
What
It
happened?
was actually his fault.
We killed Billy Bean.
Oh.
The wrong Billy Bean.
Listen, I will put myself out there too. I too, when I saw the ESPN update, I'm like, oh, Billy Bean died.
Oh, we went into we did a whole segment.
Yeah, so no,
But I don't know if it was a whole segment.
We talked about the loss of Billy. I did.
It was a sports
Jamie
six-pack
said
question.
Billy
man.
Bean died. What does he mean to the legacy? Moneyball was such a, innovative mind. It went into a whole spiel, Anthony.
Wrong Billy Bean.
but in fairness, the text line's always right.
Yes.
The text line said Billy Bean died. They didn't say which one.
Well, a
So
different
that's-
name, spelled differently.
Spelled different. Yeah.
So, yeah, we killed off Billy Bean, but then we apologized and everything was fine. Yeah. And it turned out to be quite a few laughs.
Of course, Billy Bean did die.
It's not that.
Right.
Different Billy Bean. All right, 3 stars of the day. Our 3rd star of the day goes out to escaping the demons on the staircase.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good call on that. Yep.
Gotta get away.
Lights off, time to go.
Yep.
2nd star of the day goes out to twerking at the plate.
Oh, yeah. You know, had Nolan Arenado done so, we probably would have hit.
Man, you might probably.
And our 1st star of the day goes to Doug Armstrong.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
Army.
Oh, boy, Army.
Yep. Nice job.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Cardinals starting off hot, though.
Yeah, they're down 1-0 already.
Runners at first and third.
Full count.
Looks like we got the Washington Nationals version of Eric Fetty, not the Chicago White Sox version, I guess.
Oh, just wait.
Yeah, you know what? He got out of it, though.
Good for him.
Got a fly ball out
30
to center.
pitches.
Is that all?
That's the warm-up. Now he's ready.
Reds up 1-0. We got instant replay coming up now for Andrew Marsh, for Carey Davis, for Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. We'll see you.